So.
Good evening and welcome to the April 15, 2024 meeting of the City of Tuscaloosa Planning and Zoning Commission. This meeting allows for alternative participation in order to accommodate all citizens. Any written comments sent to staff were forwarded to the Commission directly. This time, I'd like to introduce our staff. We have Jimbo Woodson, Deputy City Attorney, Michael Gardner, City Engineer, Zach Pons, Director of Planning, Emily Hayes, Associate Director of Planning, Caitlin Giles, Development Review Manager. There are 9 members of the Planning Commission, all of whom are appointed by the mayor for staggered terms, with the exception of the City Council representative who is appointed by the City Council. I ask the Commission members to introduce themselves and state their occupation, beginning with Ms. Hornsby.
Ann Hornsby, attorney.
Eddie Pugh, retired.
Stephen Rumsey, business owner.
Dina Prince, attorney.
John Smith, Deputy Director, Environmental Service.
Tim Harrison, general contractor.
Bill Wright, business owner. There are sign-up sheets outside for public comment. 4 speakers are allowed to speak in favor of a petition, and 4 are allowed to speak in opposition of a petition. All speakers will have a maximum of 5 minutes unless the Commission allows a longer time. Our procedures tonight: the Commission will take up items in the order of our final agenda. The Commission will initially receive a presentation from the staff as to the details of the agenda item. Additionally, we may hear certain matters involving the same property, such as an annexation and a zoning matter concurrently, although we will take separate votes on each matter involving the same property. After the staff presentation, we'll then call upon the petitioner to present their case. The petitioner will have a maximum of 10 minutes unless the Commission votes to allow a longer time. At the conclusion of the petitioner's remarks, we'll then call upon any party in order of sign-up or otherwise who desires to support the petition, and thereafter call in order those who wish to oppose the petition. When it's your turn for comment, please introduce yourself, stating your name and address to the Commission to provide your remarks. Any written comments have been included into the record. After receiving the remarks of those who oppose the petitioner will have the opportunity to address those objections. Any rebuttal will be limited to 2 minutes unless the Commission allows longer time. If the petitioner presents any new information in response to the objections, we will allow those who oppose the opportunity to respond to the new information only. Any response will be limited to 2 minutes unless the Commission votes to allow longer time. During the course of this presentation, you may be interrupted by any member of the Commission for clarification or for additional information. Such interruptions will not reduce your time. Once the Commission members have satisfied that they have received all relevant information, we'll then close further discussion by the public, at which time the Commission members will discuss the matter and then vote. After the vote, you are free to leave. These proceedings are video recorded and broadcast live. All in-person public comments should be made at the podium into the microphone. Comments made by phone or virtual or video recorded through the conferencing application. So please first state your name and address for the record. Jurisdiction. In all matters pertaining to subdivision regulations, approval of subdivisions within the city and its planned jurisdictions, and as to amendments, planned unit developments, and located outside the city limits, this Commission serves as the final authority. As to matters pertaining to historic buffer zone construction, our decision is subject to appeal to the City Council. As to all remaining agenda matters, including original zonings, rezonings, planned unit developments within the city, and street vacations, this Commission serves as a recommending body to the City Council. In that regard, our decisions are in the form of a recommendation to be presented to the City Council, and the City Council will make the final decision on those matters. Subdivision approvals require the affirmative vote of 6 members of the Planning Commission. All matters which are recommendations to the Council require a majority vote for an affirmative recommendation. At this time, I would ask, do any members of the Commission have any conflicts of interest as to any agenda matters before us tonight? If so, please state for the record. Okay. I would ask now the staff to confirm on the record that proper notice has been given to all parties in interest as required by law as to all matters before the Commission tonight.
It has.
Okay, the following items have been modified. Preliminary plat S-1424 will be moved from the case to be heard. The case is to be withdrawn. Do I hear a motion and a second to move this item on the agenda? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. With that, we'll begin with approval of the minutes. As the Planning and Zoning Commission has received the synopsis of the March 2024 meeting, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes and the staff unless there are any deletions, additions, or correction. All those in favor of approving the minutes for March 2024 say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. With that, staff?
All right, we've got 2 items on the consent agenda for you guys tonight. Did we go? Is anyone here to speak for any of these 2, the Taco Bell, or S21 and S25? Yeah. Gotcha, okay, yeah, that'll be separate. So we can move
he's
forward with the
representing.
subdivision.
Okay, so we can move forward with it. All right, members, we have a consent agenda, S2124 and S2524. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it.
All right, we'll move into unfinished business. So this was companion case A that was continued from March of last month's meeting. So first, we'll start off with AN 0224. So this is annexing approximately 1.86 acres located at and around 8600 Highway 69 South in conjunction with ZO 324 and S 1724. S 17 was approved by you guys last month. So here's the location of the property. Down 69 South, there's 2 pieces, and then that one piece that's already within the city limits, so they're annexing those additional 2 pieces there. And then the aerial. And they're requesting to annex into the city for access to city sewer for a new grocery store. It does conform to framework, or well, framework identifies this as a primary expansion area, so it is in one of those areas that we want to annex into the city. And then these are the department or division comments. So ESD has stated that no services will be provided to this area. Other than that, there were no issues with the request. So then we'll move on to ZO 324. So this is Gonzalez Strength and Associates Incorporated petitioning to rezone approximately 1.86 acres located at and around 8600 Highway 69 South from R1 to BN. And this currently is not in city limits. So again, you will be voting to bring this into city limits, and then as it comes into city limits, they also want to rezone this property to BN. The property that they also own and they're using on this site for the development is also BN, and that is for a new grocery store. So here is the overall site plan for the grocery store that they're proposing, along with a fuel station component on that corner piece. So just moving from the top to the bottom, this is an access point from the northern part of 69, and then you move into kind of the main overall development to the south, and we can, again, look at it a little bit closer. So this is the neighborhood market piece. You enter off of there. You can also enter off of Patriot Parkway. The loading zone in the rear, parking. As you move down, you have the Walmart fuel kind of office area, as well as the canopy there and the fuel pumps. And then access off of Patriot Parkway, which eventually goes into that light right there on the south. So this does conform to framework. Framework identifies this as corridor commercial, as you can see on the future land use character map. And then these are the permitted uses in the BN zoning district. Do you have any questions for me?
We have the sign-up sheets for anybody,
There's no one signed up to speak for this case,
for any events?
either of them.
Okay, we don't have any sign. Okay. Well. All right, petitioner?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'm Michael McGuire representing, with GSA. Zach pretty much covered it. This is to follow up with the subdivision we presented last month. Just adding a piece of property in the back and the access piece to the north is all we're doing here, and annexing both and rezoning as well.
One point of conversation we had in chair, vice chair, is the interchange to the northern part of the property. All that we see there, y'all are committed to those improvements.
Yes.
So I forgot the name of that little road there that comes off and heads north on 69. There's a turn lane. there's a merge lane on that, correct?
Yes, it's kind of confusing. The blue is just showing the action of vehicles. There you go. That's it. We will be doing all of that.
We don't see a good peak. Can you get across? 'Cause that's the, staff, can you bring us over to that'd be the western side a little bit more? Okay.
So Michael, one of the concerns was the traffic now could cross there and turn left. This will be preventing that. They're gonna have to, is that correct?
Well, they shouldn't be able to, which will be, or you're talking about the traffic that's there
Coming out
today,
of
as it is today.
Garden Hill Drive, they
Yeah.
could cross and turn left. Now they're gonna be prevented from that. Maybe AlDOT wants that, I don't know.
Well, I know we've met with them, and I'm sure it's what they want.
So AlDOT's approved this layout?
Yes, they have.
Mike, you-
Mike, you good on the record?
Yeah, that AlDOT is going to control or dictate what happens at that intersection. I'm pretty confident that they don't want that left turn movement off of Garden Hill Lane.
Right, right. Okay. Any other questions for petitioner? Thank you. No one did sign up for or against, but anyone care to speak for or against this petition request? Okay. Having heard none. All right, commission, before us, we have a companion case. We have an annexation of AN 0224, annexing approximately 1.86 acres from Z, in conjunction with the Z 0324 petition. All those in favor of the annexation say aye. Aye. Those opposed, welcome to the city. Commission, before us, we have Z 0324, rezoning 1.6 acres from R1 to BN. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion to approve?
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion approved.
Next up, we have companion case A. So this is 3 cases for you tonight: an annexation, a PUD, and then a PUD subdivision. So we'll go through all of these together. The petitioner here also has a presentation that they'll go through as well. So first off, we'll look at the annexation piece. So this is annexing approximately 57 acres located north of Old Colony Road and south of Forest Oaks Lane in conjunction with PO 224 and PS 3324. So here's the location of the property, kind of on the corner of Rice Mine and Old Colony where they intersect, close to it. And then the aerial. So the applicant is requesting to annex into the city for an R1 planned unit development. It is identified as a primary expansion area, and services are able to be provided from environmental services. No other issues with the request for the annexation. So we'll move on to the PUD. So this is planned unit development consisting of 149 single-family residential lots, 42 townhome lots, 8 open space lots, and 4 common area lots on those 57 acres at that location. So here again is the location, the aerial, and just kind of analysis of, or just what the narrative states. So the total 191 residential lots, which comes out to 3.3 dwelling units per acre, 21.7 acres of open space, which is 38% of the site, which includes dog parks, a pickleball court, passive recreation, and open play space. And then the single-family detached lots will range from 5,790 to 2,200 square feet. Townhome lots ranging from 1,796 to 3,400 square feet. Estimated total price range, you can see here for the townhomes up to 450, smaller lots 525 to 650, and larger lots 720 to 900. So here is the overall development. You can see to the south is Old Colony that they're planning to access off of. To the north is that Forest Oaks Lane. And we'll get a little bit closer in on this as we talk about it. And then here is just without contours. So as you access off of Forest Oaks Lane, as you access off of Rice Mine to Forest Oaks Lane, you can see the townhome lots there. Those are a little bit separate from the overall development where the single-family detached residential lots are. And then just the middle area with the open space, more single-family lots. You can kind of get a feel for the size and how they work adjacent to the towns, the existing property, as well as the existing property to the west. They are proposing a 20-foot buffer, a landscape buffer, close to where the towns and this property meet. And then to the south, Old Colony Road, that access point there. Yeah, keeping kind of the open space right in that entrance point. So this does conform to framework. So framework identifies this property as traditional neighborhood core and limited commercial. Traditional neighborhood core is identified as a mix of compact housing ranging from single-family lots to townhomes, which is what this is, as well as a limited commercial component. And so you can see limited commercial along Rice Mine as well as Old Colony is what framework identifies it as. And then the core there is that traditional neighborhood edge, or sorry, traditional neighborhood core. It should be circled there. And then the subdivision, so we won't go too far into this, but again, this is kind of the overall plan. And they are just asking for one variance, which is the substreet to the adjacent land, which topography and really doesn't allow for that connection point. So any additional questions for me?
I have a question. Would you go back to where you had the framework, all the
Yes.
colors?
Mhm.
Because I just, you know,
Sorry.
okay. Or maybe it wasn't this one. Do they own the property that actually abuts Old Colony Road?
Yes, ma'am. So
Okay.
the whole project is going to go directly adjacent to Old Colony.
So this property shown that doesn't have any lots, that's their property that
I believe
they're
that's
just-
right away.
That's the right-of-way of Old Colony Road. That's all public right-of-way,
Oh,
below
okay,
those
okay.
numbered lots.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Engineering on the variance request.
We concur with it, with the request for the stub. The topography just makes it not feasible.
Any more questions for staff?
Can you go back to the variance request? What was it?
Oh, sorry, I'm going the wrong way.
Okay.
Any more questions for staff? Thank you. Petitioner.
Commissioner, I'm Brian Martin with Duncan Coker Associates, representing 68 Ventures. We do have a representative from the development team here tonight that's going to go through the presentation, but I do want to touch on the access and traffic portions of the project before they get into that presentation. We've had a complete traffic study done on this project prior to coming to Planning Commission and implemented the recommendations of that study into our master plan. The primary access will be off of Old Colony. We're proposing to construct a center turn lane in the middle of Old Colony, as well as a deceleration lane coming east, or excuse me, going west down to Old Colony. So it'll be a right turn lane into the development. The secondary access will be off of Forest Oaks Lane, which is an existing gravel road today. We're planning to construct half-street improvements along that road, as well as extending the asphalt north on the opposite side of the road from our development, as far as the right-of-way will allow us just to give as much asphalt width through there as possible. We're also planning to extend the half-street improvements past our development all the way back to Rice Mine, just so that there's a clean, not a break point in the asphalt width there. I do want to talk about the existing gate at the town's entrance. We've discussed this at length with staff. There is a requirement on the Phase 3, Section 2 final plat of the towns that requires that gate to be removed, as well as a requirement within the subdivision regulations requiring us to have that access point. In discussing with staff, we've come to the conclusion to take that gate down. The variance request for the Stubb Street to the western property, that property is zoned BGO. It's not needed for us to have fire access, a secondary entrance to that side, and it just doesn't make sense to.
Hold on a second. Mr. Chairman, is there any way he could put up a map and point out the
I agree with him. We need to bring us to
And while
that.
you're doing that, tell me again what you're taking down. I couldn't understand what it was you were taking
So there's
down.
an existing gate here
Oh, a gate.
that I've
Okay.
circled, that doesn't allow the town's access to Rice Mine Road.
Can you bring a little closer image of that gate area? We had a pretty lengthy discussion in Chair, Vice Chair about the gate and how the continuity of the road, there we go.
Yeah, that's better.
That's better to see.
So the subdivision regulations, as well as the note on the final plat from the towns, is what governs us, removing that gate.
So the stub conversation was really about the parcel, really like lot 192, correct? Is that
So can we get back
referring?
overall?
Is that, you're talking about stubbing that, in that
So
area?
This property here is zoned BGO.
Okay, that one,
I'm
okay.
sorry. Here. Subdivision regulations would require us to build a stub street to that property. But they have direct access to Old Colony via the road that was built for the senior living facility. So it doesn't make sense for us to interconnect
Okay.
residential traffic with office traffic. I'm sure we're gonna need to touch on some of these points a little deeper, but I'm gonna let the developer go through their interior programming within the development.
Right before you go, is Forest Oak Drive, is that currently a deeded easement? Is that
It's
is that a
currently
public?
county right of way.
That's county right away?
So we're gonna annex that right of way into the city and donate 10 feet on the south side to get our 25-foot from center line.
I have a question, since we're looking at the map. You say you were gonna extend, extend half street improvements past your development. Where is that?
So, it's kind of off the page here, but this 5-acre piece in the top right corner is not part of this development. That the existing property owners are gonna retain that property. So we're gonna extend our half-street improvements along that frontage as well.
Okay.
Proceed, next.
Good evening. I apologize, I always have to inevitably adjust these. My name is Chloe Kelly. I'm here on behalf of 68 Ventures. We are the developer for this proposed development. I appreciate y'all allowing us to show a presentation. The goal for this is to just provide you, as well as members of the public, additional detail about what it is we're planning and try to just provide additional information or clarity. Staff did a great summary, so I can kind of glaze past most of this, but we are proposing 191 total lots comprised of both single-family and townhome lots. Our total density is 3.3 dwelling units to the acre, which is below the R1 max density of 4 units to the acre. We have 38% of open space with the goal of providing different recreation opportunities for the community. I have some conceptual site plans that just show the overall. Here's the relation of the site. I'm going to move past this and to be cognizant of y'all's time. We do have a mixture of lot sizes, so we have 50-foot.
Can you pull the microphone? I'm
Yeah.
having a hard time.
Thank you.
I hope I'm not the only deaf one up here.
I can't hear.
Okay,
Can you hear me better?
better.
Better, much better.
I appreciate it, thank you. We do have a mixture of lots, so we've got 3 different residential lot sizes, really 4, which are 50-foot, 60-foot, and then 1 and 2 acres, larger lots, in addition to the townhomes. We've got our buildable areas outlined in order to show kind of the square footage ranges of the homes that are proposed. We also have townhome lots, which we have 2 different sizes of. As far as parking, We've accounted for a total calculation of 2 parking spaces per single-family unit and 3 spaces per townhome unit. All of the proposed elevations for the single-family do have garages, and that is a restrictive covenant we're willing to place if that's a concern of the city. Our proposed utility providers are City of Tuscaloosa for both water and sewer, and Alabama Power for power. Our proposed amenities include a dog park, pickleball courts with parking for guests. We do show some proposed monument signage placements. We do also have passive and active recreation open space throughout the site, as well as some connectivity trails. We've included some proposed signage renderings to give y'all an idea of what we're anticipating. And then I went ahead and included the elevations that we included in our package. In compiling these, we did try to be cognizant of the surrounding neighborhoods as well as the style of architecture within the city. We do have a proposed restrictive covenant that would limit vinyl to just fascia and soffits, so it would not be used in any primary facade, and we anticipate the primary building materials being brick, hardy like cement board siding, and natural stone, and shingle roofs. I'm just going to click through these to provide everybody some guidance. I do have some ranges of square footages if any of y'all have any questions. I know that the 20-foot buffer was mentioned. We do have at minimum a 20-foot buffer, but in some areas we actually have up to 120 feet of buffer area. And then we've had a couple of different discussions. I know that there has been a conversation about the gate and along Forest Oaks. But as the developer, we are agreeable to doing what it is y'all are asking of us to do. And if there is a compromise that can be made there, we'd like to express the intention to do so.
Do they have any elevations of the townhouses? It's going by so quickly, I didn't see many.
We do. I don't believe this is the revised package that was submitted. There's one of the towns.
So you talked about the number of parking spaces. Can you park one end and then one behind in the drive? Or
That's correct, sir.
And the third one is just on the street, so 3 spaces per townhouse.
Yes, so we have, at minimum, so the elevations aren't reflective of all of the potential floor plans that could go. We have 20-foot and 24-foot lots for the townhomes, and on a 24, you can do a larger scale garage, and so you'd have street parking, 1 in the garage, or potentially 2 in the garage on the 24s, and then in the drive.
So I can't hear very well. Can you kind of show us where street parking is? How you would do that?
I apologize, I'm gonna. So if you look in this is a quad unit that's proposed, so there would be your garage, your single family, and then there are bordering streets. And I will pull up the overall site plan so that's a little bit clearer and this is a good example of having the wider drives as well, what's on the screen.
A good example of what?
The wider driveways, so the end units here have larger paved space.
So mailboxes are all at the front gate?
There'll be central mailbox units, yes, sir. And that's to be confirmed by your local postmaster, but it's our understanding that that's what they're going to request. We were thinking about proposing that location near the pickleball courts because there's also that guest parking, so individuals can park and pick up their mail.
You're talking about the mailboxes for the townhouses, right? Or
So we haven't received direction from the postmaster on if the single family will be required to have CBUs. It's not uncommon that also be the case. So for the townhomes, we would likely have it near the dog park amenity at the rear. And for the single family, we would, in all likelihood, have to have 2 CBU locations. And like I said, we're proposing that at the Central Park, which you can see where the roundabout is. It's probably the easiest way to.
Where you're talking about,
Yeah, circle the townhouses for us. I think I know you're going to circle, that's what.
so you're saying that park it, one in the garage and one behind it, then car goes down to the cul-de-sac and parks, or parks right in front?
There's going to be curbing in between those townhome units. So you can see kind of the green space. I will note it.
That's what I'm just trying to figure out. People start coming over to these houses, where the park. What's it gonna look?
Are those lines indicating where the off-street parking will be that you just made?
That is the intention, yes. And our engineer can probably speak to the depth of the drives on whether or not those can feasibly fit two parking spaces as well, because they're the ones that did the parking calculation, but
Who's your builder?
we don't have a builder. We do not have a builder, so we're not under any lot purchase agreement with a single builder. We typically don't.
Okay, you said you're not gonna enter into an agreement with a single builder, is that what you said?
We're not in an agreement with any single builder. We don't have any lot purchase agreements with any builders at the moment.
But you're gonna, at some point, have a single builder?
Not necessarily, no.
Really? Okay.
No, the different product types lend itself to having the potential for multiple builders.
Is that common practice for 68 Adventures, or is this something new to your operating plan?
So in the last calendar year, we've had a little bit of a transition. Historically, we've done larger tract building where we contract with a larger scale home builder for a single phase, because they'll purchase a multitude of lots at a scale. But we have historically dealt with smaller, more local regional builders. And depending on the project, it's kind of tailored to the market, to be candid. So some markets have local builders that aren't able to absorb our lots compared to other areas.
Is D.R. Horton one of your builders?
For this project,
No, in general. You said you hadn't picked one for this one. So
have we ever sold lots to D.R. Horton?
I'm not trying to trick you. Does D.R. Horton build houses in your development?
We've sold lots to every national home builder, yes.
So can you show me how those cars are gonna park on the townhomes?
On the townhomes? Sure.
And while you're showing, I'm just curious. So why would you provide, or say you provide 3 parks for a townhome and only 2 for a single-family residence?
So the requirement is 2 off-street parking places per dwelling unit. So on the townhomes, we've got 1 garage park and 1 driveway park. That's a requirement. Is that correct, Mike?
Yes, that's correct.
But it's not an entitlement. I mean, you gotta be able to park cars. I mean, I'm just asking, how's it gonna look and how are they gonna fit? I mean, it's just a practical question.
One in
I mean,
the
I understand what
driveway-
I understand what the
one in the garage.
regulations are. So I'm saying when 2 cars park it, one in the garage, one in the driveway, or whatever. So when the guests come, just show me where they're gonna park. I'm gonna come over and play bridge. Where am I gonna park? Is that fair enough?
I guess you would park in the street
Where?
along the curb.
All right, can you circle it or put a yellow line
Can we
on
go
it?
to the site plan?
Or just show me where I would park when I come over?
We go back one.
I'm trying to figure out if there's enough room in between these units to park a car.
So, I mean, we could get several parks here for overflow parking
Where are we now? I'm trying,
at the ends of the cul-de-sacs.
Oh, he did it.
so you're gonna, so you don't park, you just come down here and park in the cul-de-sac to visit?
Off-street parking, yes, sir.
So,
Okay.
You're talking about the parking that would be in the cul-de-sac?
Yes, sir.
So if you're on,
Is that gonna allow for city vehicles, emergency vehicles and everything to park in there and give them room to garbage trucks and everything to turn around?
I mean, at the end of the day, we're meeting the requirement with 2 off-street parking places per unit.
it's a PUD.
So
Well,
on-street
many parking
parking is
spots
generally
do we do?
allowed in most residential neighborhoods.
So,
I don't see this one being unique in any manner from, let's just say, the towns, High Grove. You know, there's.
can you you can park a car in front of the town, Mike, in front of the house.
And if
Do
those
it
lots,
every day.
if those lots are 20 feet wide, you can park one car in front of each one of them.
Well, there's a driveway too, so are you blocking the drive? I'm just trying to see what it looks like. I'm not saying I'm not for it, I'm just trying to understand it.
The rendering that you had that was kind of at an angle, I think, and you could see the curb in the house. Can we look back at that? Because that appeared to me that it was enough room there.
We're changing to it for you guys.
Do you know which one I'm
I
talking
mean,
about?
it's a pretty simple question. Can a car park between
Right
the
there, yeah,
driveways
right here.
in front of a damn house?
Right here.
And those are
So-
curbs.
I don't see how they could park
So
where
you're
the
saying
green
park it here?
is without blocking a driveway.
And so that may be an issue. I mean, I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it isn't, I'm just, if I pull up to visit my friend and there's one friend already in the driveway and I pull up, then the guy next door is mad because I'm blocking his driveway, maybe.
What we can do,
I
and
can drive down.
I
drive down.
appreciate the feedback. Well, I'm just trying to provide a solution. At the end of those cul-de-sacs, I mean, candidly, just eyeballing it, we could probably put, 7 spaces each?
Yeah, I mean, we can.
I mean, we can
get-
propose to just have parking there.
I mean,
You know,
this is-
actual spots pulling
I mean,
off
this is
those
just a public
cul-de-sacs.
hearing and you're putting a presentation out there and our job is to
No, I know,
discuss the
but
issues
I'm just trying to
associated with it.
engage, so to me, that seems like a good solution. This comment hadn't come up
I
previously.
mean, I can't decide, I mean, I've seen a townhome or two in my life, but a lot of them you can park in front of, and it doesn't look that great when you do it, but at least you can. I'm just trying to figure out if I gotta go down to the end of the street, walk back, or if 3 of them have a football game party, what happens? But you're right, that could happen anywhere, you know? So I'm just trying to figure out if we got an issue here.
It appears to me too that there may be room in the driveway for more than one car. They might be blocking each other in, but.
That's right. I mean, we meet the requirement for off-street parking with two spaces per unit.
I mean, reasonably, it depends on the size of the vehicle. Arguably, you could probably put 2 in the drive. Similarly, on the single family, every floor plan that we have proposed has at least a 2-car garage. So you have 2 in the garage and 2 in your driveway, and then anything else off-street. But conservatively, 1 in the garage, 1 behind.
And with our proposed setbacks, we've increased that front setback a little bit to get a deeper driveway to make sure the car is outside of the right of way and behind the sidewalk. We've increased that setback.
Let back up with the rendering of the sidewalks in that townhome area.
Am I driving? Or?
So you've got sidewalks on all townhomes except for lots 117 through, or 177 through 182. Right?
So on the subdivisions require on secondary streets, you only have to have sidewalk on one side of the street. Entrance roads, you have it on both sides.
So, is this a PUD or we're going by, if it's a subdivision regulation, I thought a PUD, just about everything is negotiable in PUD.
To a degree, yes, this does meet the zoning requirements also. 2 off-street per unit is what's required here.
That means,
If you,
you're not right to do it in a PUD?
even if this was the base zoning and they weren't asking for a PUD, they would be able to have just 2 off-street parking spaces.
Regular subdivision, they can do it that way, they can have it by law. Is that correct? Why would they do that?
They're not zoned for townhomes currently.
we're back where we were.
You want to continue with your presentation, or is there anything else you want to add?
I mean, I think we've covered the high details. I appreciate the feedback. Certainly, the intention was to meet and exceed the guidelines in other areas, and I appreciate your feedback.
You understand, I'm just trying to
I do.
figure out.
No, I
I'm
do.
trying to figure out if you've got 3, 4 houses and they each have a guest, where are they gonna park?
Well, and that's why I would
How's it
say
gonna
is,
look, and how's it gonna affect the ingress egress of the other vehicles when they come down that cul-de-sac? This is pretty straightforward.
right, no, but I would say as the developer's representative, I would be willing to agree to adding additional guest parking of, I mean, what do you think is feasible? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot,
We
but
can certainly add some more parks, but I mean, we meet the requirements of the zoning ordinance and.
I understand that, but I hear the
That's
feedback.
all you gotta say is that's what you propose.
Well, no, I mean, I hear the feedback. I want to be cognizant of the concerns. We're doing our best to do that, and we've gotten feedback from staff, and we hadn't gotten this feedback up until this point. So if we could feasibly add, I don't know, 7 parking spots throughout, do we feel like that is a good compromise towards the over? I hear your concern. I've been to a party on a Sunday
You
too.
know, over 20 years, I've seen the neighborhoods, and they look good on paper. But when you go to park in front of the house, and you got somebody already parked there, where's the next guy parked? Is he parked in front of the neighbor, I guess, parks in front of the neighbor, I'm just worried some of these driveways are gonna get blocked. If you don't have a place for them to go, we got a sprawl. Now, they can fight it out there, and I understand that they can. But you're talking about subdivision regulations, and I'm talking about the fund. You're asking for townhomes, you don't have that. So you've got to negotiate your parking. All right? Go to the city council, get them to approve it. I'm just asking a practical question about how this is going to work. And I'd like for it to work good because this is an important neighborhood and an important area like all of them.
Is myself, and I'm sorry because I'm going to ask y'all's body as well as staff, am I able to commit ourselves to adjusting this, to commit to adding additional guest parking?
We can make modifications if you guys do recommend this go to council or not. If you proceed to council after this, we can make modifications between now and then.
Just with the stipulation, it's an increase in parking, not any type of decrease,
Yes.
right?
I mean, I would commit to a count if somebody could accurately tell me how much we could feasibly do.
Yeah. Just, look, when you drive down the street, you can feel whether it feels right, whether it works right. I don't think this is a great drawing to work off of, but I mean, you can go back to the one, let's go back to the one where you show the townhomes in the driveway. Maybe that explains better what I'm working on. So, you're saying you actually have to pull up parallel backed up to the driveway, right? Or try to do it in between the two, I guess, and maybe partially block.
Well, in between each unit set, and this is not the best photo for that, but if you look at the actual plan, we've got about, I think it's over 20 feet in between each building. So each building would have a space basically on either side on the road that's not obstructing anything.
I think there's a better rendering that might show it. The first one that you showed us? No,
We have a lot of slides.
there. So you're saying there's room there between those two driveways? I mean, a car's only what?
Not necessarily. What I'm saying is on the either end of the building, there's going to be space between each building that's
Oh, I see.
landscaped.
So there'll be this quad unit, and then there'd be a 20-foot
every-
space, and then there'll be another quad unit. Okay.
Every 4 or 5 driveways, there'll be enough space for a car to park without blocking the driveway.
So, how many bedrooms are in the town?
In all likelihood, 2 to 3.
2 bedrooms?
Yes.
So, you know, you could dream up a scenario where you've got a parking situation anyway. I guess you could have someone that had one car, but, students, the student housing task force came up with actually a parking metric that service well. It may change as people, these cars pick you up at your place, but it's like, what is it, Bill, 1.07, to a lot for guest parking studies
Like
we
that,
did?
yeah.
What right here, if you've got 3 bedrooms and you've got 3 college kids go out and buy them condos, you got your issue right out of the chute. I'm not saying it can't be over, I mean, I'm sure it can be worked out, I'm just saying that on paper, it looks one way, but in practical, application, it may not work there.
Right. And for context, just so it's clear, the 3 bedrooms would be the end units, and those do have 2-car garages and wider drives. But like I said, we've got green space on either end of the cul-de-sacs. I'm happy to committing to adding additional parking to address this.
The, it seems like you come down the street, I want to quit talking about this.
So I think, you know, just.
People have guests, and this all works.
So what we could do is, as part of, if y'all do recommend this or whatever, you know, one of your comments could be, you know, additional parking should be provided for the townhome area. We can go with that. I think we can work with them, and we're hearing you, they're hearing you. I think we got it.
Turning radius, turning radius.
I mean, can y'all show the roundabout rendering with the pickleball courts? Because that parking is a good example of what I'm envisioning adding, something like that, larger, like in all likelihood, but on the curve radius and having them pull off.
Pardon me?
This is an example of along the cul-de-sacs on either side, having the parking opportunity come off those cul-de-sacs so nobody's blocking them. The turn radius should be okay. They're actually pulling off the road into that parking area.
I think we just need to continue to work with staff on that area. I think that's something that you're hearing a lot of concern about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got to come in from staff to work with you. You're committed to work with staff. Hopefully you can address that before it gets to, if it gets to city council level. Fair, staff? Okay. Do y'all want to continue on?
You said your name at the point in time when I couldn't hear. Can I get?
Chloe Kelly, 68 Ventures.
What's your last name?
Kelly.
Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Kelly, got a couple of questions. I think I heard you say that there was another presentation, that this isn't, is this your presentation or did you send another one?
This is our presentation. We had gotten an inquiry from staff to clarify some things on the elevation, so we submitted a separate elevation package, I believe, on Friday.
Is that not in this package here? Is that
It's in
separate
addition to. There's nothing that's been omitted from this. We just provided additional information.
So one thing that I guess I'm concerned with is High Grove as well as the towns of North River are probably 2 of the most successful developments that we have in Tuscaloosa. They're very good, they're very hot. They seem to turn over very good and they seem to maintain their quality. And with you tying into it, I'm trying to understand your building components, what compromises your houses, the materials that you're going to use. And I can't ascertain this through what these are. It looks like you've got some brick there, wood, but or masonite, whatever, but when we talk about the townhomes and all that, what are they consisting of? Is it similar construction? Are you going to match similar construction?
Yes.
What I read here at the bottom, you've got a disclosure that says this presentation is informational, however, it may change as the project moves through the entitlement process. What is the entitlement process? What we're going through now?
The entitlement process is, like, this is part of it, one of these meetings. So as we get feedback, we iterate. And so the intention with that is more so for the public, candidly, so that way if we come into a meeting and they have a copy of the presentation and it changes for the next meeting, we've disclosed to them that it could. That was actually a point of clarity that staff had inquired about and that we've since clarified. So part of what we resubmitted removed that disclosure and clarified the building materials.
So you do have that clarified. One of the things that concerns me as well as anybody on this panel here is that you're tying into a neighborhood, and I don't want anything lesser than what you're tying into. It either needs to equal or be better, in my opinion.
Right.
How are you going to maintain that with your builders when you sell the lots?
So as a part of the PUD, and staff can kind of correct me, but the elevations and the materials that we submit, and so just to clarify, what we resubmitted to staff after they had inquired about this disclosure, which we removed, we added the proposed building materials, which include brick, stucco, stone, and cement board siding, and no vinyl siding or anything like that. We actually included swatches. So with the elevations that we proposed, we included the proposed material swatches. This is still not the revised one. Do you have the one that? Oh, it is, okay. So the intention was to be able to provide additional clarity with that. And so, you can see here, we added about not being under, agreement with any home builder and that we're imposing restrictive covenants.
Okay, if I'm looking at this elevation here, and this townhome is at the front entrance, first thing I see when I pull in is the back of that townhome, and then that side, that high side on the left-hand side. Correct?
Yes.
So I get to look at the back of a townhome, and then that blank face.
We've got a 20-foot buffer along Forest Oaks.
That's not gonna go 3 stories, because you've almost got a 3-story roof right there, correct?
No, that's a
So
two-story.
how do I sure, I mean, how, if I, again, I'm coming into, I can enter through the towns through this location now.
Can you pull up that map?
And that's the first thing I look at, is the back of that townhome and the side of that building right there, correct?
Well, you're gonna see some landscaped, at our entry road, it's all gonna be landscaped. We have
Well-
at minimum 20-foot of buffer. That's a
20 foot.
two-story townhome. And the rear would have windows and the facade matches just like the
So
front and
that 20,
sides.
is that 20-foot buffer gonna be high enough where I won't be able to see the side of that townhome?
Well, our intention is to plant native trees as well as maintain some of the natural buffer that's there. I cannot tell you exactly what the height of those existing trees are, but the site is wooded.
The adjacent property owner, that first 300 feet right there, in fall time, I'm coming in, I can see the back of those townhomes. Is that correct? Because you got the topography there, you've got a ravine there that you're pulling in, and I'm gonna come through that, and I'm gonna look at the back of lot 41 through lot 146, correct?
We're gonna retain those large.
Pardon me?
We're gonna retain those large oak trees
140.
behind those lots. I mean, that's a stream of wetlands back there. We're
Yeah.
not gonna be able to touch that.
So east,
Okay.
clarify for me, but east of the townhomes, we're not gonna clear past the
Well, I'll
necessary
only want
point
to
for
see
the.
it during spring and summer. Right? Oak trees, leaves. Anyway. So, again, in order for me to be comfortable approving this, I've got to approve something that's, again, equal or better to what we're finding. So, Robert, explain your phasing to us.
So it's gonna be 3 phases. Can we go back to the overall? First phase will be off of Old Colony, these lots here. Second phase, so that's 1. Second phase here, and then townhomes and estate lots will be 3.
What about the lots to the left?
That's included in phase 1, I'm sorry.
That's phase 1.
Yes, sir.
So you won't be, when will you be doing Forest Oaks Lane? At what phase?
That'll be a part of phase 2, and what's the timeline on phase 2, you think?
Probably, I would say 24 to 36 months.
24 to 26 months?
24 to 36 months.
24 to 36 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Your density's what?
3.3 dwelling units to the acre.
Do we have adjacent density in what was adjacent density in,
Say that one more time for me.
what was adjacent density in the towns?
Yeah, we've got a couple of examples for you. Towns is 3.06 dwelling units per acre.
Okay. And this 3.3?
Do we have townhomes in either the towns or the other name of, what's,
The towns does have
High grade.
townhomes.
So,
the towns does?
It does.
Where are they? I mean, I've just never seen them.
They're on Anna Lane. They're dispersed throughout, really.
Okay.
I'll
You
pull
don't
up
have to show me, I've just never noticed them before.
So if y'all sometimes get D.R. Horton built for you, and they're settling class action lawsuits for $20-30 million for shoddy construction, are you gonna bring them in here to Tuscaloosa and build them? I mean, is that, you expect they're gonna build?
I genuinely can't speak to who the home builder is going to be. I will say that as a part of us developing, we maintain declarant rights until the last house is built, and then I believe it's 2 to 4 years after that. So we're responsible financially and for the maintenance of the subdivision. For the maintenance of the subdivision. If anything goes wrong in there, if there's sidewalks that are broken, or if there are common areas, if somebody vandalizes the dog park, if there are
I'm just
public
talking-
safety issues.
I'm just talking about you builders getting sued all over the southeast for shoddy construction and not meeting building codes. I'm just wondering if they're gonna come in here and build all that.
Well, it's been expressed to us that there's interest from local home builders to build on this site, which we're happy to field.
Well, I thought you said you hadn't decided that. You have or you haven't decided?
No, we haven't. We don't have any agreement with the lot purchaser. However,
So
it's
you
been.
may go with a national, you may go with a local, you may go with several locals, or you may go with several nationals.
Correct.
back to the density, and I don't know if you can tell me this, the density of this neighborhood as it compares to the towns with the relationship to the open space of the towns versus the open space of this neighborhood. I'm sure you got that right on, Tiffany. You don't have that available, do you?
So, yeah, we didn't exclude the open spaces because it's a requirement on both of these types of developments. For reference, though, some other neighborhoods that you guys are familiar with that also have open spaces, High Grove is 2.26. That kind of gives you a feel of they've obviously dedicated some open spaces and then
right.
placed density elsewhere.
Well, I think a lot of this open space was dedicated because of topography.
Correct.
So I guess that's what I'm getting at. Compared to the lot sizes, are they fairly comparable to towns?
This one's 3.3, Towns is 3.06.
I know, but comparable lot size,
Comparable lot sizes.
Yes.
Yes.
they are comparable. Okay.
Any other questions for, or do you have any more to present? Are you?
No, sir.
or It's a wrap? Any more questions for the petitioner from the commission? Thank you.
Thank you.
No one did sign up to speak for or against?
I've got your list right here. The first person that has signed up to speak in opposition is Iman Diarian. Come on up, please.
And Commission, while they're on the way up, just want to let you know, we did forward 32 written comments in opposition to you.
Name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Iman Dayarian. I'm the owner of 5002 Yorkshire Lane, which is a lot adjacent to this new construction. So that's the lot here. This is my house. So I have one question, basically two questions and one request. My first question is about the traffic. I know that it's a very common question and many people probably have asked this question, but I'm wondering if the city has considered improving the infrastructure of the Rice Mine Road and Old Colony, which are single lane streets, and this 191 addition of homes to this intersection has it been thought through Because if you are from the area, if you are from the area of the towns or High Grove, you would know that every morning the commute between 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. is increased by 25 minutes, something around 25 minutes, just because of this intersection. And now we are adding 191 new homes, which means something around 400 new cars. So I don't know if this has been thought through, and I hope it has been. The second question is about the gate. As I mentioned, I'm the house at the end of the cul-de-sac at Yorkshire, and this is the new gate that is going to be opened. I want to remind everybody that the town's area has only one single entrance, and it's not the most convenient entrance because it goes through the parking lot of church. Now, if this one opens, it becomes the preferred entrance for the majority of the residents of the town, and probably apart from those who are living on the north side of the area. So this quiet neighborhood that has probably an average age above 60 right now, it will become the main point of entrance and exit from the towns. That would add a huge amount of traffic that I think is going to add some hassle and remove enjoyment from the neighbors. If we can go, or maybe I can use the same map. So once again, this is my house, and this is kind of a personal request. I know that the developer proposes a 20 feet buffer, but that would cut off all the trees. In 2019, when we bought this house, we went $75,000 above our budget because we just fell in love with the trees in our backyard. Now, if this development is going to happen, and if they cut all the trees, they are going to remove the enjoyment from our home. A home that we paid more than our capacity, our budget, and we are going to continue paying that money although the enjoyment is gone. So my question and my request from the developer is there any way they can modify these two lots that are adjacent to my home, to my house, and the house next door? I think the owners are, I had a conversation with them, but they are old, they cannot be here in person. So my suggestion is to somehow trim these lots so that the space between these lots and my home is left and the trees are left so that we don't look over each other's backyard. I'm sure that the new resident of those lots will also agree with me that this is not the most, I would say, pleasant situation, especially that, as you can see, our house is somehow built toward the end of our lot. And the other thing to add is that this area, in this area, there is, I would say, a steep ditch that, to me, honestly, it's not usable. So if that part can be left alone and even removed from the lot, preferably, and the trees are left, that would at least leave part of the enjoyment and the reason why we bought this house. Again, I hope that the developer and the owner, they agree to this suggestion, this request. And that's basically everything I wanted to say. Just to recap, I'm concerned about the traffic. I'm very much concerned about the gate, this new gate, and I have this request about trimming the lot 19 and 20. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Next.
We do have one other person signed up to speak, Brian Robinson.
I'm Brian Robinson, and I live in the Yorkshire section. It's 5129 Yorkshire Lane. And so I'm on the corner. If you come in from the gate, the proposed removal of the gate from the Forest Oaks Lane on that main through street coming straight into the towns. And so obviously we have some concerns about the traffic. Obviously we've had incidents with cars burglarized in houses. We've had a home in the Yorkshire section that was burglarized. It's probably 2014, 2015. Again, just provides another entry point, and that's a concern for me, is just another entry point into our neighborhood. But the main thing that that I wanted to propose was the consideration of the bollards, like we did between High Grove and the towns. If it's mandated that we remove the gate, could we potentially install the removable bollards to allow for emergency, if it's for emergency purposes, to remove those as we did, again, between the High Grove and the town's neighborhoods, versus removing the gate, allowing that traffic to come through. And I don't think, I mean, looking at the elevations proposed, not of the, speaking specifically to the elevations proposed for the townhomes, I just don't know that it's on the same standard as the homes in the towns or High Grove, and to open these things up and basically merge these two in together is a concern of mine and a concern of another number of other neighbors, again, who are unable to be present tonight, so. But I just, again, if we've got to remove the gate, my proposition would be, could we consider the removable bollards, again, like we did between the towns and High Grove, so. That's pretty much it.
How's the, when you pull in and out of the towns through the main entrances, I go out there maybe once a year or so. But
Sure.
it's usually during the middle of the day. Is there any backup pulling out on the right line? How's that doing?
I mean, the morning time obviously is of the concern, obviously just because of the elementary school there. And I don't know how that traffic's going to be once they build the bridge. Again, school traffic still got to come to the school, so it's still got to leave the school. So I don't know if that's going to eliminate, it may, obviously it'll take the traffic off that intersection, which hopefully will allow the traffic. But again, that's a whole another topic, but the whole traffic lights things. But
Neighborhood's
it's,
done well, one entrance, but it's been a concern. I've just been wondering, as it's developed, has it ever caught up and become an issue to people?
I mean, we see it. I mean, you have a short window of time in there. Obviously, there's a good time and a bad time, but you have to leave to get our kids to school. And so we just know if we leave, a certain window of time, again, the traffic is backed up, and it takes a number of cycles. The more cycles of that light versus having a longer cycle and allowing more cars to not have to stop and speed up, obviously.
What is it, 7:30 or something?
Around 7:30, yes, sir. And so it's, again, it does back up. Not pulling out onto Rice Mine, but once you pull out, before you get to Forest Oaks Lane, sometimes it backs up right there, just at that point. So that's kind of a choke point. But other than that, again, the main thing is, to me, was the through traffic coming into Yorkshire. Again, I don't think anybody's complained and lobbied for opening up that gate. Obviously, that's not a developed street, so it hasn't been an issue. But when there's been talk of that, proposed before as far as developing that property, obviously, it's a concern of our not just the Yorkshire section, but others, just because traffic coming in and out of that area. Again, kids at play. I mean, streets are streets. Kids shouldn't be playing in the streets, but still, it's, to me, it's another entry point, and it's, again, we're not asking for, that's not something we're lobbying for, but again, I don't know that it mentioned the requirement from the city of Tuscaloosa subdivision regulations. I don't know those, so I don't, again, I can't speak to that, but that was a concern, and if someone could expand on that, or the mentions, the final plat of the subdivision. So I don't know, again, if that's a requirement. If it is, then, could we potentially, and it sounds like the developer's open to, discussing that. So I'd just like to express our concern on behalf of the neighborhood, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, would you remind me, what does the final plat say? Just that if ever this land was developed, the gate would be taken down, or what?
That's correct. It says Yorkshire Lane to be denied access to Forest Oak Lane until Forest Oak Lane is improved to county standards. Obviously, that changes with the annexation of that road into the city.
So
Go ahead, Mike.
I believe the reason for that note was the accessibility out of the towns to use Forest Oak Lane is a shorter way for 2/3 of the residents in the towns to get to Rice Mine. And that road was a gravel road. So it wouldn't, the developer didn't own it, didn't have control of it. And that was a way to protect that road from great deal of traffic until it was improved.
It also allowed them to meet their Stud Street requirements too, when they developed it, correct?
Yes, sir, that's exactly right.
And so Fair Oaks Lane is gonna come out in the vicinity of Med Center South? Or Med Center, whatever that is, north, or whatever that new Med Center is. What's on Rice Mine where this comes out, or in the vicinity?
I'm gonna see if we can get an aerial image up there to let you see where that's at.
So to Mr. Robertson's point, we've got an alternate connection to Yorkshire with the removal of bollards and a grass paved fire access. If that's something that y'all want to consider, I mean, I know staff is in agreement that we need to take the gate down, but if you want an alternate scenario, like Mr. Robertson suggested, we've got that prepared.
I mean, candidly, I mean, I've always felt like that we would do ourselves an injustice by always, we're gonna set a bad precedent by always putting bollards connected to stub streets. I've always been fearful of, there's one way in and out of the towns. I mean, God forbid something ever happens there.
I mean, from an engineering perspective, I agree with you. We want to do what's right, and I mean, we
get caught in the middle because the neighborhood doesn't want the connectivity.
That's
We hear from
why
fire
we're
and
proposing an alternate for you.
We hear from police and fire and safety. We're going like, that's always been the fear on us, is that one day if something ever did happen, how is health, safety, and welfare being protected?
I agree.
I guess from my standpoint, maybe I say this to talk amongst ourselves, and I will, I'll do it in closing discussion. I'm talking myself up here.
So, all right, can you bring, Ms. Prince wanted to see an area of where Fair Oaks popped out onto the Rice Mine. Just give us a visual.
Yeah.
And I think
So
you
what
got
I've-
additional.
what I've,
You had the thumb drive to, what was
I
that?
had the alternate prepared if y'all wanted to see it, but if y'all are fine with us removing the gate, that's the route we'll go.
I mean, the gate's gonna be removed no matter what. So the question is, we're gonna cut it through Fair Oaks, or we're gonna put the bollards in?
That's correct.
That's what's gonna boil down to.
That's correct.
Well, and none of this, I mean, there's not really any reason for the neighbor, the new development to access.
No, I mean, this is
the
upstream of our
towns, right?
development, so as far as our development is concerned, we don't care either way. I mean, it's gonna add a little bit more cut-through traffic through this development, getting back to Old Colony, but
That could actually open up, the towns to access Old Colony.
that's right. And take more traffic off the Rice Mine Watermelon intersection.
It takes some pressure off of that one entrance of the town, for sure,
Did-
potentially.
Did I understand that there's been a traffic study?
yes, ma'am.
You need to elaborate on that, or you got a question about it?
Yeah, and I mean, have we ever had a traffic study done that said that it increases traffic so to the point that it shouldn't be developed? I don't think I've ever, since I've been sitting on this board, ever had a traffic study. And I mean, we all ride down this road. We all know Rice Mine Road, and we all know the schools here. I mean, here's what gives me heartburn about things like this, y'all. I'm just sorry. But the schools are already at pretty much max capacity. And we're gonna add more children going to all the different schools north of the river. And then are we gonna have trailers like we had in the past when my children went to kindergarten at Verner? And they had to be in a trailer outside for school? I mean, I don't know, I worry about our infrastructure. I worry that we have the adequate roads. I worry that we have adequate schools. And sometimes people don't consider that when they're buying houses. And then they get over there and they can't pull out of their street to go to school. And then their children have to go to a trailer for school. I mean, it's kind of a catch-22. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at this 56-acre piece of property that needs to be developed somehow. I know that. I'm not that idealistic. But we've already got two huge subdivisions over there, huge. High Grove is huge. The Towns is huge. Now, are they just, they're lucky they developed first. And then now these people are like, I mean, I'm thinking, I'm not sure I want that many houses there. I know the developer wants to put townhomes because they're trying to make as much money as they possibly can off the property. But I'm looking at it going, why don't you just put single-family homes there? But they can't make as much money as they want to make. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm taking my job too seriously up here, but I worry about doing something that in 10 years, people are gonna go, who in the world was on the planning commission that approved this? I mean, I worry about that.
You know, I agree.
So-
I like the idea that they have townhomes because we need different price points so different people can have a quality of life and everyone's not priced out. But I do have concerns about the design as it relates to how the cars interact in front of them and what the quality of life will be on the street. I don't have, in other words, you can still have townhomes and still have a good quality parking in front of them. I hear what you're saying. It's a first in win game. I mean, you got 600 lots at High Grove.
I hear you, Ms. Prince, but we think about, I think in every time we've had a development up there, whether it been High Grove or Waterfall, same argument's always been made about schools and traffic. And we just gotta.
We're gonna have to build some more schools.
Well, that's the growth there of Tuscaloosa. It's only gonna get, when we open it at Rice Ferry, it's only gonna get more intense. So I hear what you're saying, but I think what Mr. Rumsey says is accurate too. At least there's a product variation here that does allow, we talk about the housing crisis we have in the city, and price point is the main issue. And there is a product here that does fit that the lower rung of the price issue there. So, I mean,
I just want it, if they sell that lower end or less value, then I want it to work, and people pull into that cul-de-sac off the street up there. I don't want it to be just we've approved some neighborhoods that we have regretted over the last 20 years where they had stacked mailboxes every X number of feet, and the cars couldn't park in front of the houses, and it was just a disaster. So I'm glad that they're not going to have mailboxes out in front of them, or else I don't know. It's a lot of concrete out there in front. I mean, I've seen a townhome or two developed. There's a lot of townhomes in Tuscaloosa, and a lot of them have a little more looking green space than this. It's a lot. There's a lot of concrete out there.
I do want to touch on one more comment that was brought up, the buffer along the cul-de-sac there in the Towns. Those lots that we're proposing in this area are deep enough if we need to increase that buffer to.
All right, so we had a question about that in Chair and Vice Chair. I don't know if it ever got answered. I think originally your lot lines went all the way to the back of the property line by the owner. And therefore, our concern was the 20-foot buffer.
Right.
If you had every individual property owner had control over that buffer, then you'd get just a hodgepodge of buffers.
I agree.
And I think what we hear from a neighbor just spoke about buffer, there needs to be, I believe, that controlled by the developer and some standards put in place that provide adequate buffering. And maybe going so far to the townhouse area as well. We're more concerned about the individual lots, but to Mr. Harrison's point about when you're going to drive down Forest Oaks, I think it's called, you're going to see those townhouses, the back of those and side of those. I mean, I think that.
So we'd be happy to build that into the covenants and have it built in there as far as maintenance of the.
Well, I'm not worried about maintenance. I'm worried about standards. Like if you build in downtown, you've got a limit to 4 or 5 trees you can plant. Well, we want to make sure that I'm saying that the buffering needs to be one that's, a visual impairment.
Right.
Seeing the back of any of these, houses or townhouses.
Right.
That's my thought now. Very cohesive and being limited to what can be planted there. Again, I prefer for the developer to be in charge of that.
Yeah, so we can put some planning standards in the covenants as well. requiring what has to be planted within that buffer.
Well, let's just, I'll ask you to make it very, very vegetative and preferably evergreen type buffering that doesn't, leaves don't drop in the fall and.
Maybe a arborvitae type hedge.
I'm not a horticulturist, I'm just saying that.
I'm not either.
I think what I heard a couple of times said, here and out there, is buffering's important.
Right.
Did you want to answer any of the questions that you heard from those who are in opposition?
I don't think so. I just wanted to hit on the buffer as well as the gate issue, but if we're good with that, I'm fine.
So basically, you're going to leave the gate issue up to this commission, right?
We'll be happy to do it either way.
Don't throw us in the fire.
How about you're willing to do whatever we decide?
Whatever staff and the commission wants us to do, we'll
We're
do
not
it.
the final voice, so the council's going to have a final stamp.
Agree.
I have a question about that procedurally. This is not in the city limits, right?
Currently.
So when we annex it
Annex.
into the city limits, that's what, now it has to go before the council? Okay. We haven't done that yet, so.
No, I haven't done it yet.
So, yeah, city council would ultimately annex as well.
You said there was 3 phases,
Yes, sir.
and the road, Forest Oak, or whatever it is at the top, will it be like built in the second phase or upgraded, or when will it be done?
We'll have to build it in the second phase to get to our downstream westernmost entrance. So those half-street improvements will be,
And the townhomes were going to be in the third phase?
yes, sir.
So you could actually, once you did that road, start your vegetation or whatever to hide the garden homes then.
Right.
Because you're gonna see all those along the road, not the ones just coming in, Mr. Harrison was talking about. I can't see the numbers now because I don't have a magnifying glass, but those along the road, you'll see the back of those.
Let me ask you one other question. Robert, the lots that are, I guess, in the last phase that back up to the east, the state lots, is there a buffer? Is there gonna be a buffer between those and Old Colony Road there? I see one of the lot lines, and it goes all the way to Old Colony Road there.
Yeah, I'm sure, I mean, we haven't designated a buffer. There's a pretty good grade change there. I mean,
From a
there's
topography standpoint, there is a huge grade change, and that being said, you'll be able to, again, see the rear of those houses off the road. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be 30 feet, 40 feet above the roadway, but I think with a fence, a good backyard fence, you won't be able to see into the house.
Anything else?
I'm good.
All right, thank you very much. I don't think you brought up anything new that would require those in opposition to come back before us, so we'll close and, I guess, talk amongst this body here. I guess the biggest thing that came up was the road and.
Well, that's not the big issue. But let me say what I want to say. You know, Dean, I want to answer your question. I'm kind of opposite to you. I think the highest and best use for this property is what they're trying to produce it to be. I know we're getting more dense over there, and I know the road study is a concern, but obviously the McWright's Ferry coming on board is going to take a large load off of that's not school-related traffic, heading in those directions. So, you know, I'd like to see the tax base somewhat increased over there so we can get another school, we can add on to the other school, maybe another school district at some point in time with the future of whatever happened with McWright's. Procedurally, I don't have an issue with the gate. You know, I can understand the town's concerns about accessing through that, but I think this, like it was spoken, this development would receive more traffic from the towns than towns would from this development moving through. So, I mean, I think it alleviates potentially some of the traffic of the towns. I get it, they don't like the other entrance for security reasons, I understand that. I guess my biggest concern is the potential of who can be built in this and what can be built and the standards that are set forth. I was very concerned that potentially a national-type builder could come in here and take over all of this property. I've seen what some of the national builders have built around in Tuscaloosa. And although you do have standards of building materials, what concerns me is that national builder will take the bottom standards of those building materials and have more of a consistent house than, say, the adjacent neighborhood like the Towns that has a great mix of that. And you go through there and there's mixed building components that's really aesthetically pleasing. I'd hate to see the same house built out of the same shiplap siding out of the same brick. I don't know that they've got standards that would oppose that, but I guess that's the biggest thing that concerns me. Again, when we're attaching this project to adjacent subdivisions such as the Towns and/or High Grove, that's my concern.
It kind of underwhelms me a little bit. You know, like to see something special. I'm not an elitist. It just doesn't look that great to me, and I'm not sure it's ready for prime time. But I mean, it's ultimately not our call. We'll cast a vote, and then the city council will decide. But I agree with you, Tim, about the growth of the area. We need the housing. You know, economic development needs the housing. We're short. We need different price points. All of that. At the same time, while we do it, we're creating. The neighbors are right. It can create at least a short-term burden on the traffic, and that does cause me some angst, but I don't know a way around it. But, you know, this presentation, no offense to these people, I don't know them, where they're from, what they do, but, you know, they're not telling me who's going to build it. They admit a relationship with someone that's had a horrible history, and, you know, I've seen more detailed presentations. Well, I'm underwhelmed by the presentation, but it's an important development, and to me, there's still a lot of questions. You know, if they want to have a subdivision and go by the code, they can do it by right, but they're asking for the right to do some things that you cannot do, and so that throws that out the window. They could do away with those townhomes up there, and they wouldn't have any problems, I don't think. Right? I mean, the townhomes are what's throwing the kink in that. Or is that what's throwing it into the PUD business, right?
There's also the lot sizes.
What?
The lot sizes
Okay.
and setbacks are also an issue on some of these. They don't meet the R1 standard.
I mean, I'm not saying it can't, I think it can be a great subdivision. There's just not that much detail in this to me. I mean, most PUDs that we see have a lot of detail. I mean, the architectural renderings and stuff, I mean, this looks like, to me, like somebody went online and cut, pasted. Sorry.
Do you know how many units, houses they'd lose if we didn't allow them to reduce the setbacks and what they're asking for?
It really depends on, I mean, they've got a lot of topography that kind of hinders their ability to build here, and that's why they're going for this PUD so that they can make the best use of the whole property itself. So really, we'd have to see what an engineer could come up with to answer that question.
Density is one thing I always worry about. I mean, I think they want to build 149 single-family homes. If they built 100, and I'm just grabbing a number, say 140, would they meet it? I know that don't cut down much on the density, but one's one, 10's 10.
Any other comments from the staff? I mean, I think Mr. Harris, Mr. Rumsey said it very well. I mean, I think in the way we're saying, I hope before you get to council, if it gets to council, that you're hearing our concerns. And I think we're all got a little tingle up our spines when we heard about possible national developers. I think that would be if that's a move you decide to make, I think that would reflect very poorly on you. And I think it would be a reflection of future endeavors in this market. So I don't know how clear a way to say it, but I think if you can make the right choice, and that if this gets approved, would be working on local builders would be very highly sought after. I hope the council feel, I'm sure the council will feel the same way. One, it's also a good economic driver for our community. Because a lot of times they bring things from outside and bring labor from outside, whereas locally, we know where it stays, where the dollar stays. So, any other comments, thoughts?
I just want to give my thoughts after hearing all of the comments and the questions. And I will be able to hear this again, ask the counselor, but I don't know if I've ever had this experience where there wasn't like a set developer or, I'm looking at there being several different developers or national developers. That's scary to me because I want to be able to, whatever type of development we have, to be able to protect the integrity of the neighborhoods that are already there and to make sure that everything is going to be consistent and we don't have a decrease in any property or value or anything of that type in that kind of way. So that's kind of nerve-wracking to me, along with the density of the project. I know that there is a need for housing. It does conform to framework. But where we have consistent good values, I want that to remain for our neighborhoods. And so, like I said, that's one of my main concerns when it comes to the developer. The building materials, I feel like if it comes before the council again, there does need to be some more detail with the presentation. A lot more clarity to these questions that are being asked. It's with the buffer, off-street parking, all of that type of access. That will kind of help me out a little bit.
Comments? Final chance. All right. We'll now start tackling the voting process. Commission, before us, we have an annexation request of 57 acres on Old Colony Road south of Forest Oaks Lane. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Welcome to the city. Commission, we have before us P 0224 Lewes Landing, a planned unit development. Let me ask a question of staff, especially legal, on the conversation about the opening of Fair Oaks Lane and the gate removal. Before us is to open up the gate and access it with creation of the improvements to Fair Oaks Lane, correct?
Right.
Okay, that's what we're voting on. So we're going to vote on
We're
it.
what?
We're going to vote on it as was presented with the gate removed, connectivity to towns.
So they'll be able to drive in and out?
Correct.
The procedurally, if we don't approve these two, the annexation does not go through, correct?
So, yeah, they could still annex the property, but they just wouldn't be able to develop it. They would be an R1 property, so they could put a single-family home
So the
on it.
first one is to bring it in, okay, we brought it in as R1 through the annexation, correct?
That's right.
And the second one is what?
So that would be the planned subdivision, so the PS 33 would be contingent upon the PUD getting approved.
And PS 33 is
The subdivision.
annexing it into, so we're approving a PUD, we annexed it, we're approving the PUD, and we're bringing it in as a PUD subdivision, correct? Or
Yeah,
subdivision.
so y'all are
Subdividing the property.
Yes, so y'all are the ultimate decision on the PUD, on the subdivision, so the PS.
So we've annexed it, we're approving a PUD, and then we're approving the subdivision of all the lots. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, everybody clear? It's not clear as mud. So we have P 0224 before us. Do I have a motion and a second?
I move we approve.
Looking for a second.
Second.
Mr. Rumsey?
No.
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 Yes.
No.
No. No. killed that, so then we need the PS part of it?
Yeah, the PS would be final vote. This is a recommending vote.
Okay.
The PS, the PUD was recommending
Right.
that we just voted down.
The subdivision is a final vote.
So if we subdivide it, then they can still get council approval.
Correct.
May I understood from, the reason I voted yes, is that I don't think I can articulate a legal reason to deny it. Aren't we supposed to?
Well, we ask you to articulate a reason to deny the subdivision.
And that's on what now? I'm sorry.
We'll ask you to articulate a reason to deny the subdivision if it's denied.
And what are the reasons?
And that's the
not
PS
subdivision?
33.
Failure to meet the requirements of subdivision regulations, so if they ask for any waivers, that could be one.
Well, that's one of them. They didn't, right?
They ask for any waivers.
They did ask for a waiver.
Just the Stubb Street.
Well, I
is
think
the only variance.
Adjacent property, yeah.
You know, it's obviously up to the council, but I mean, this is a development that can get there. It just, you know.
Again, I stated my reasons. My reasons were because I didn't feel like that they presented a good case that they were gonna build a similar or better adjacent neighborhood, so, from my standpoint.
So you take a vote on the PS portion of it, and you want us to, obviously for the record,
Right.
state reasoning
If
for
it's-
voting up or
If it's a
down.
no vote when we get through, then the reasons
Okay.
stated.
All right, commission, hope that's clear as well. We have PS 3324 Lewis Landing. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second?
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes.
No.
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 No, and I have to state my reason.
We'll come back for it.
You'll come back. But let me ask one thing. We have annexed it, so right this minute, it's R1. We turned down the PUD, so that means that if they were an R1 zone, this subdivision as platted could not be,
Correct, but they would have to be annexed by the council. So,
okay, well, no right now.
No.
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 all right, now we need the reasons for the denial.
Can we go in the same order? No votes?
Okay, so I feel like I've stated all my reasons already. I feel like there needs to be more clarity. I want to make sure that the quality of builders is consistent with the development that already exists in the current neighborhoods. I feel like it's a very dense project, but that's something that I feel that we can be worked out if I had a few more details about the aesthetics of the neighborhood, the off-street parking, and some more solid information on the materials and the consistency of the materials that will be used.
Took them all.
I've got issues with density.
What she said.
The setbacks and the density that all comes with it. Build it to our regulations that the city requires, and I'm good to go.
Health, safety, and welfare, particularly as it relates to ingress, egress of automobiles and parking, and I guess in a way, it would be a density issue. I don't have a problem with the density overall. I'm just not sure that, and I'm not standing out there on the ground. I'm sure the engineers are doing everything they possibly can. Y'all have heard my issues. Is that good enough, Jimbo?
Good enough, yeah.
Go ahead.
Prince?
Now, I know there's been a traffic study done, but I feel like that the infrastructure in place can't accommodate the additional traffic, just my opinion. And I just don't think it, is in conformity, I guess, with other surrounding neighborhoods.
No builder listed in the standard of building material.
Mine pretty much in keeping with what Councilwoman said. It is not in keeping with adjacent neighborhood standards. I was not convinced it was going to be built up to those standards with adjacent in keeping with adjacent neighborhood.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but I agree. I think it's a concern of affecting the property values and keeping continuity between the adjoining neighborhoods. I'm just really concerned about the building types, the building materials, and the builders. I think it's, again, too important of an area with impact that could be negative to the adjoining neighborhoods. Thank you very much. Next case.
All right, next up, we have DROD 0124. This is John Sexton, Black Design Architecture, petitioning to demolish the existing structure and construct a new Taco Bell located at 2610 Stillman Boulevard. This is in conjunction with S2124, which you guys approved through consent agenda. So here's the location. This is the existing Taco Bell on Lurleen, on the corner of Lurleen and Stillman. They are wanting to demolish this structure completely and rebuild. So the reason they're doing that is to utilize the existing site layout, allowing many of the large trees to be preserved and the green space features, but they are just totally renovating kind of their model throughout the nation, I believe, and he can speak a little bit more on that. But the building facade is going to be constructed primarily of brick veneer with accents of hardy trim. So here is the proposed site. So you can see they're going to have a 2-lane. So they're going to have like an exit lane on their drive-through. Right now it's just 1 lane, and if you're in there, you're stuck. And so there's that. They're going to reconfigure the parking a little bit, and then reconfigure that sidewalk along 8th Street as well. And then here are some renderings for the site itself. So on the top right, you've got the drive-through. The top left, I believe, is facing 8th Street. So that's the primary entrance. Rear elevation is facing Stillman. And then the left side is interior to the property. And then these are just some more elevations with dimensions. So the Architectural Review Board found that overall the development meets the intent of the DROD standards and guidelines. And so if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Petitioner.
Hello, John Sexton with Black Design Architecture. Address is 9935 Highway 55 in Westover. As you can see, the existing property it's an old design that had it was called the dual look, where it had 2 different businesses in there. I think KFC as well as Taco Bell. So this is our current national prototype design. It's closest one here, I think we did one at Mitlary Boulevard in front of the Publix. So this is that design. Typically we have more ephes, but we needed to provide the brick. So we replaced a lot of that ephes with the brick, except for the top band, which we now utilize as kind of the main design feature for it, rather than having kind of the prototypical clay tiles and then the mission arch. So this is a modern design with a lot of contemporary aspects, but keeping sort of the traditional architecture features of that, of having, the rusticated base and the shaft of being the brick, more refined material, and then a capital arch with the overhang and a lighted feature. And a lot of that faces the inside a lot, but we kind of had to work with sort of the nature of the business and have to have that drive-through. So we tried to work with the best we can to sort of continue some of the guidelines that y'all want with the Lurleen Wallace design.
Mr. Sexton, I can say you're fixing I will say you're fixing to fix a lot of ugly. Thank you. We appreciate it. Looks a heck of a lot better for that area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for the petitioner? I think that comment is probably reflective of several of us up here. Any questions for petitioner? Thank you, sir. Anyone sign up for or against?
I think I want to clarify really quick that the following three are for S27. I've got Pat Lane, Joe Lane, Scott McCool, and a Julia. Are any of those folks are you here for the Taco Bell, ma'am? Which case are you here for? I'll write it down real quick.
Way on the back page.
All right, I'll call you up at that time.
So no one,
Nobody?
that slate's clean? All right. So no one has signed up to speak for or against. Would anyone in the audience care to speak for or against? Having heard none, thank you. All right, commission. I think Mr. Harris said it very clearly, very succinctly. So, for us, we have DROD 0124.
Second.
Ms. Hornsby. I'm down, Mr. Rumsey.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
Sorry.
Punchy.
All right, now we'll shift into a couple rezonings. This is the first rezoning request we have tonight, ZO 424 RHZ Development LLC. Petitions to rezone approximately 15.91 acres located at 3200 Foster's Ferry Road from R2 to ML. This is in Council District 1. So you've seen this property before a few times. This is on Foster's Ferry Road across from Foster's Industrial Drive. It's a vacant piece of property today. And they are wanting to rezone from R2 to ML to allow for light industrial development with office space and a laydown yard. So here is their site plan or their overall concept, about 5 or 6, kind of like the office warehouse type with the roll-up doors, but they would also have a laydown yard in the rear. They are providing, or they're proposing to provide a kind of a residential buffer between the neighboring property to the north as well. This does not conform to Framework, so Framework has identified this property as suburban residential, which is single-family, stereotypical single-family detached homes. And that you can see that here on this future land use character map. But these would be the allowed uses in the ML zoning district if it were to be rezoned. Do you have any questions for me?
Nope. Petitioner.
Robert Martin with Duncan Coker Associates, representing RHC Development LLC. As Zach said, we're proposing to rezone to ML for generally an office contractor storage yard type development. We've met with the Housing Authority and walked them through our site layout. And along the residential, we're required to have a 50-foot buffer. We agreed with the Housing Authority to increase that to 75 feet along the Springer development. They were happy with that and were in agreement with our layout. To the west, the city of Tuscaloosa owns that property. It's currently zoned R2, but it's my understanding is that will, with the new zoning update, that will be open space in the future, so that property is undevelopable. Property to the east is in the county, unincorporated. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
You pull back up the ML chart that shows where everything can be. I guess the only thing that always causes concern when you go to ML, what could be.
The intent is to have something similar to the developments along Joe Malisham.
I think we know what you want to do.
A little office with a contractor storage
I don't have
yard.
a problem with what you want to do. I think it's probably the best fit there. However, but you still got to be, we have to be concerned about what it could be in case the developer decides, I'm not going to do this. So then you've got a situation where it's an ML then, and any of these could come in there. Just want to make sure we're clear on what those could be. Any other questions for,
Bring the picture up of what they're wanting to build, the lots.
so five bay
One,
roll up?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, does each one of those lots go all the way back?
Yes, sir,
I
they
mean,
do.
what will that project
And
be
those,
used for? Nothing?
sir,
What will that be? Nothing, just
that'll just be an
hold the earth
open
together?
storage yard.
Okay, you're not gonna be able to get to it much,
So it'll be a gated yard, like for a contractor or something like that. And these lot lines that we've got shown, we would come back and subdivide these pieces as they're sold to individual users. That's the reason we aren't asking for a subdivision tonight, because if you got somebody that wants to buy lots 1 and 2, we don't want to already have it subdivided and have to re-subdivide.
Is the developer in this business? All right, is the developer in this business already? I mean, do they do this currently around town?
So the developer is Roger Taylor, Paul Taylor Construction. They do some stuff like this. That's not their main focus.
Okay. Any other questions for petitioner? Thank you. Anyone sign up for or against?
No, sir.
No one has signed up for or against. Would anyone care to speak for or against this petition request? Okay. Having heard none? Commission, before us we have Z0424 RHC Development, petition to rezone 15 acres, 3200 Foster Ferry Road from R2 to ML. I have a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Rumsey.
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was gonna say something. Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
All right, next up, we have another rezoning request, Z0524, Montgomery and Hinkle. Kevin Hinkle petitions to rezone approximately 1.45 acres located at 13605 Highway 11 North from BH to ML, and this is in Council District 5. Here's the location of the property, so it's just a tiny sliver, as you can see here. It is actually right on the property, or the city line of, I think, what is that city? The city line of some city over in that area.
Coling.
Coling?
Coling.
And, but anyway, so they are wanting to rezone the property zoned BH today for a self-storage facility. So they are rezoning to ML from BH. This is the area that they're wanting to rezone. So they own all of the property, and it'll be probably the whole thing that they'll construct this self-storage facility on. However, only this portion is within our jurisdiction. So it does not conform to framework. Framework identifies this as corridor commercial, which is more so, commercial, office, retail, services generally car-oriented, such as shopping malls and car dealerships, as you can see in the future land use character map here. And then these are, again, the permitted uses in ML. Do you have any questions for me?
Bring the survey back up again, please. Mike, will this have to come before us for you for a building permit?
Yes, it will.
Okay, are those properties, the resurvey, the Cottondale Industrial Park, are they already ML? They're the ones that are ML already, right?
MG.
Okay,
sorry.
I see. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I may abstain on this on Cottondale. I didn't know this was.
Okay. Mr. Rumsey will be recused himself. All right. Petitioner.
Kevin Hinkle, Montgomery and Hinkle, Inc., professional land surveyor, 203 Harbor Road East, representing Mr. Kyle Sellers. Family-owned undeveloped land for years, and seeking an opportunity to develop the land with a mini storage facility. And to be able to develop that, it needs a zoning change, and that's what we're here to request.
Did you say research facility?
Mini storage. Mini storage.
Mini storage?
Mini
I thought
storage.
that's
Yeah.
what it was. I thought you said
Yeah.
research.
Okay. Any other questions for petitioner? Thank you, sir. Anyone sign up for?
No, sir.
Anyone care to speak for or against this petition request? Having heard none. Commission before us, we have Z0524, Montgomery Hinkle petition to rezone from BH to ML 13605 Highway 11 North. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
All right, next up, we have some annexation requests. First one tonight is AN 0424. This is annexing approximately 229 acres located north and west of Lewis Spur and bordering Lake Tuscaloosa, known as Emerald's Edge subdivision. So essentially, this one expired, but you guys had previously approved this annexation. So y'all are familiar with the location here and the aerial. So they're requesting to annex into city limits for residential development. And it is a future expansion area as identified in framework. And then there were no issues, and it's out of the ESD service area.
Petitioner?
Robert Martin with Duncan Coker Associates. This is phase one of Emerald's Edge, this currently under construction. Due to delays in acquiring the property and the permitting process and delays, the annexation has lapsed, so we're having to go back and update that.
Thank you. Anyone care to speak for or against? All right, Commission, before us, we have an annexation request to redo on 229 acres. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Welcome back to the city.
Next up, we have AN 0624. This is annexing approximately 2.0 acres located at 11351 April Sound Drive. Here's the location of the property. Trying to give you a close to Waterfront Lane. I'm not exactly sure of a good point to direct you to, but this is the location off April Sound, an existing single-family home, and they would like to annex into city limits for the benefits that the city has to offer. And it is an expansion area as identified in framework, and it's outside of ESD's service area, but no one else had any issues.
Thank you, Mr. Pons. Petitioner?
Hello, I'm Allison Hudnall. This is my husband, Matthew Hudnall. We're the property owners here, so just pretty simple annexation request. Have access to city schools. We understand we were still responsible to deal with waste management for our environmental services, and happy to answer any questions that you have.
I just wanted to note a couple of the lots across the road from us have been annexed into the city. A lot that's less than 100 feet across the slough from us has also annexed into the city in the past.
You know, we're like the Hotel California. Once you come in, you can't come out.
We do understand that, yes.
I think we're pretty good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone care to speak for or against besides the petitioner requesting? Having heard none. Commission, before us, we have an annexation request of 0624, 11351 April Sound Drive. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Welcome to the city.
Next, we have AN 0724. This is annexing approximately 0.4 acres located at 11637 Tiers Patton Road. Here's the location of the property, of course, off Tiers Patton, close to Tiers Lake Road intersection. There's an existing house on the property. They are requesting to annex into the city for city schools.
Thank you, Mr.
And it
Pons.
is identified as a future service or expansion area. And these are the comments again, same as last time.
Thank you, sir. Petitioner.
Hey, how are y'all doing? Matthew Saylor. I'm the owner of this property, just looking to annex in for city schools. My children already attend Rock Quarry and looking to keep them there. Thanks.
Fair enough. Thank you, sir. Anyone care to speak for or against besides the petitioner? Having heard none, Commission of Annexation Request 0724, 11637 Tierce Patton Road. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, welcome to the city.
All right, last annexation for tonight, AN 0824, annexing approximately 1.5 acres located directly south of 8610 Eastern Hills Drive. So this one is that sliver right there that you can see. So they own the property to the east as well, and so they'd like to annex into the city as well, this sliver here. And it is a primary expansion area, priority 1, and there is no concerns from any other than ESD, which won't service this area.
Petitioner.
Kevin Hinkle, Montgomery and Hinkle Inc., 203 Harbor Road East, representing Roger Young. Part of that, it joins the Bowman Young subdivision. I think in the process of the Bowman Young subdivision, that accidentally did not get annexed into the city. We're just fixing that now.
Thank you very much. Anyone care to speak for or against? Commission before us, an annexation request 0824, 8610 Eastern Hills Drive. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, welcome to the city.
All right, y'all have seen this one before too. This is a preliminary plat S1924 Alberta Parkway subdivision, a resurvey of lots 1 through 9 of the Tannehill subdivision and lots 1 through 9 of Sarah Heights Block 5 subdivision. This is consisting of 2 lots on approximately 0.89 acres located north of 723 23rd Avenue East, north of 712 and 713 24th Avenue East, north of 808 25th Avenue East, and north of 716 25th Avenue East. This is Council District 5. So this essentially is Alberta Parkway. The walkway that we did as a city, we've acquired this right-of-way. You guys have approved this plat in the past. However, we're trying to clean up these lot lines in order for adjacent property owner to possibly purchase them. Because the city doesn't need them. And then we need to dedicate the Alberta Parkway as right-of-way.
Is that an alley, did you say?
No, it's just remnant lots that from when we built Alberta Parkway. And then here's the plat with contours and without. And they're requesting the variance from half-street improvements and sidewalks.
Engineering.
We're in agreement with that.
Thank you. Petitioner.
Well, we're
With the petitioner, right? I mean, so yeah, how do we
We
handle
gotta
this
ask a
one?
lot of questions.
Yeah.
We've seen this before, why are we seeing it again?
That's a
Never
good
mind, let's
question.
go.
Where are you gonna build that?
All right, Commission, before us, we have S1924, and you've heard it all, so that was a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
All right, next up, S2024, resurvey of Lot 14 and a portion of lots 13 and 15, Block 2 of the resurvey of lots 30, 31, and 32 AP Lee subdivision, consisting of 1 residential lot on approximately 0.21 acres located at 312 24th Street. This is in Council District 2. So the location of property on the corner, almost on the corner of Harrison Street and 24th Street. And so from this aerial, there's a lot line that goes basically where the T is, or where that L starts, or the corner of it. And so they're just going to remove that lot line right there, as you can see on this plat. And they are asking for lot configuration and from providing a topographic map.
Engineering.
We concur with that.
Thank you. Petitioner?
I'm John Perez, Long Point Surveying, 4011 Virginia Lane, Helena, Alabama. I'm here on behalf of the property owner, Christopher Sisson. His intent on this property is to just add a building addition to take the storage and screen porch out. And during that process, we found out there's an illegal division of this parcel, so we're trying to correct that now.
Fair enough. Any questions for petitioner? Thank you, sir. Anyone care to speak for or against? All right, having heard none, Commission, we have before us S 2024, the resurvey of lot 30, 31, 32, AP Lee subdivision. We have a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes, motion approved.
All right, next up, S-2224 Wheat Gordon subdivision, a resurvey of Lot 7, Highland Ridge 1, and unplatted land, which is a reconfiguration of two existing lots on approximately 22.37 acres located at 3921 Joshua Circle in Council District 6. Here's the location of the property south of Spring Hill Lake.
We've seen this before.
And then the aerial with contours and without. So it's a large piece of land just to shift that lot line essentially. These are the variances that they're requesting: drainage, study, sidewalk, and cap sewer. Any questions for staff?
Engineering?
We're in agreement.
Thank you. Petitioner?
Good evening, Eric Hamner, TTL, 3516 Greensboro Avenue, Tuscaloosa. Here representing the Wheats and the Gordons on this. This commission did see this case a couple years ago. It was approved. It never went to final plat, so we are bringing it back in the exact same form for the approval tonight. Neighbor of the person in the large parcel is just giving that little sliver to the neighbor. Take any questions you have.
Any
We're doing
questions?
a lot of housekeeping.
What's that?
We're doing a lot of housekeeping.
We sure are. Is that a question or a comment?
It's just about it.
Thank you, petitioner. Anyone care to speak for or against? All right, thank you very much. Commission, before us with S 2224, the Wheat Gordon subdivision. We have a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
All right, next up, S-2624 White Hat Farms, resurvey of part of lots 25, 26, 27, 36, 37, and 38, W.E. Walker survey, consisting of 3 lots on approximately 13.1 acres located at and around 3935 Clements Road. This is partially in Council District 5 and partially out of city limits. So here's the location of the property today, on Clements Road, close to I-20. It's kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of different lots that they're really trying to clean up here. So you can see there's a lot of lot lines being removed, but essentially they are creating 3 lots. So 1, 2, 3. And that is without contours. And of course, they're asking for drainage study, but also lot configuration, half-street improvements, and cap sewer.
Engineering?
We have no issues with those requests.
Petitioner?
Yes, Marty Montgomery, Hinkle Land Survey, 203 Hargrove Road East, representing Kyron Smithson and White Hat LLC in this division. Main purpose being to survey around the existing house. And so while they doing that, they just split it to be the other 2 lots with it.
Is that drive in existence right there that's going to be accessing lot 2? Is it already there?
Yes.
Okay, make sure. Any other questions for petitioner? Thank you, sir. Anyone care to speak for or against this request? Commission, for us, we have S 2624, White Hat Farms, 3-lot subdivision. There were some variance requests, but engineering has no issues with. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion,
Second.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
Next up, S2724 Sullivan Estates, consisting of 5 lots on approximately 9 acres located at and around 1705 Bear Creek Road East. This is not in city limits. You can see somewhat close to Bobby Mill Activity Center. Pretty large piece of property here with some existing houses on it, and they are parceling off 5 lots. And this is with contours and without. And we did discuss some access stuff off of Bear Creek Road, I believe, a little bit of restrictions there. But other than that, the variance request, one variance request from lot configuration.
Engineering?
We're okay with that.
Great, thank you. Petitioner?
Kevin Hinkle, Montgomery and Hinkle Inc., professional land surveyors, representing the Sullivans, it's really settlement of an estate, and they're just trying to divide the property up around the existing houses, and we don't have a problem with the limited access off Bear Creek Road, but and the easement for the 2 lots. Any other questions?
Any questions for petitioner?
So the driveway, it looks like it's going across lot 3 to get to lot 2. So is that gonna continue? I mean, does lot 2 need to get an easement from lot 3?
Yes, ma'am. It's actually
Is that-
shown on there. It's just kind of dimmed in, but it will have an easement for lot 2 and 3 to use the same drive.
Any further questions for petitioner? Any comments? Ms. Prince, you good?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Didn't want to cut you off. Thank you, Mr. Hinkle. Any other questions? All right. Anyone care to speak for or against this petition request?
We do have 3 signed up. We'll start with Joe Lane first.
Okay. Name, when you come up, name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Joe Lane. I live at 1641 Bear Creek Road East. I have some concerns about the property. This road that comes up off of Bear Creek Road, it says Taylorwood Drive. I don't know where that came from. It's never been known for 44 years that I know of. It's not a deeded road, and what our concerns are, that there will be no access to this property off of that non-deeded road. They got county road out there that they can come off of.
You talking about Taylorwood Drive?
That's what it said. Taylorwood Drive that's not the Taylorwood Drive. I don't know where it came from. People that's come out there looking for Taylorwood Drive address, and they find it in Taylorwood Estates. This is a non-deeded road. It is a access for landowners. And I live at the.
Who owns the road?
Pardon?
Who owns the road now?
Each landowner owns half of it. They deeded half of the, or put out 9 feet, I think, on each side off of each property owner and made a non-deeded road. It's not county kept up. It's nothing. The people that keep it up is myself and my neighbor McCoos, and we spent money on that. We've got deadbeats that drive to land past there at the end of the road. They do no maintenance on it. They do no hedge trimming. And I just don't want any access off that road to this subdivision. And I'd like for a,
Excuse me, let me interrupt. Staff, can y'all jump in here real quick on this issue and tell us on that road, or whatever it's known as, what is the legal status of that?
Sure. So in our research on it, most of this property on what's shown on the plat as, I think it's Taylorwood Drive, is not platted. And so it doesn't show a street frontage requirement there. I think this question can be fielded best by the surveyor as well to explain where he found those details.
Let's hear, I mean, I hope, let's continue with the concerns.
So your concern is that you don't want somebody to go down this road and access this other property, correct?
that's correct. Because only people that keep it up, like I said, is myself and McCool. And people are using it now to bring dump trucks, tractor trailers, rock trucks, and tractors of all kind to go to 80 acres at the end of that access road.
So, but are they, so I understand it, to ask him some questions. Is anybody using that road now to access this property that you know of?
No. But
Is it paved?
pardon?
Is it a paved road or?
No, it's got $1,000 worth of flag on it right now that I paid for.
So,
And the McCoos had paid for it before that.
let me ask you another question. Do you know if these landowners down the way have a prescriptive easement for this road? Is this road the easement access to those? Is there an easement to those other properties through this road?
Yeah.
There is?
I'm not following you, I don't think.
Is there a legal easement for the property owners that are accessing this road down the way to have rights to use that road? Do you know that?
At the lower end of the road?
The ones where the trucks are
The
going
ones where the
to.
trucks are going. Maybe the surveyor can ask us.
They have easement to their property at the end of the road, yes.
Using this road?
Yes, but they do not keep it up. They use it, but they don't keep it up.
Okay. All right, well, we're gonna get the engineer back up here, but obviously we got two more people signed up to hear. Your concern is this road, right?
The road, I'd like some kind of privacy fence or some kind of fence to keep them from accessing it after this is established.
Okay, let's hear from the other two petitioners. We're gonna get the engineer involved. So, are you the next guy up?
I'm Scott McCool.
Is that the right person on the list? All right, so name and address for the record, please.
Scott McCool. I live at 1625 Bear Creek Road. I'm a landowner adjacent in 4 spots down that easement. I
4
live
spots?
on Bear Creek Road. And my concern is, like Joe said, these lots have access to Bear Creek Road. All of our other land that goes down that easement, which that easement is only generated for the landowners that don't have county road access. And we want to keep that strictly for the landowners that don't have county road access. These lots have county road access and should not have any entitlement to come in and start storing trucks, trailers, or anything at the back part of this property instead of coming across their property.
Lot 1 appears to access on that road currently.
That's right.
Correct?
That's my cousin who lives in that house.
And do you want your cousin, or do you not want your cousin to have?
Yeah, he's already had access there for years.
Okay.
You don't want, there's only one lot that now could be accessed. That'd be
That's
lot
exactly
3.
right. Lot 1.
Okay, all right.
Should be the only one to use it, because the others have access from Bear Creek Road.
How long has it been this way?
So I can,
125 years.
so I can,
That's the reason we're not wanting to change it anymore.
let me solve this for you.
Okay.
Y'all put a gate up right past your cousin's drive and give the adjacent landowners a key to it, and don't let lot 3 have a key to it, and you're fine.
Yeah, but you've been in 100 years, there could be some adverse possession.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you got deeded accesses,
Like I said, that's non-deeded. That whole entire lane is non-deeded.
sorry, I'm getting into
It's
it.
mainly for the 80 acres at the bottom here, and then all the landowners to the, here, my left, will be the left side of the road.
Can you answer?
That whole right there all have Bear Creek Road access.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't need come down that
They shouldn't
road and
need it.
store trucks, trailers, or have, have a back way in to make junkyard, say make a junkyard, and come across down beside my house and all down through our little lane, it ain't but a 10-foot lane, totally gravel.
You got a comment there?
Yes, I want to know who owns the property that the road is on today?
I own to the middle of it.
Who owns the other half? The Sullivans?
Yes.
That's,
But you
that's
don't-
a, that's a.
He's never used access to the road. I mean,
It
it was
doesn't,
always designed.
if it's half on his property, I mean, this becomes a legal issue. This isn't for y'all to deal with.
Yeah, we can't fix this. This is legal. Put the gate up.
So
see
can't
what
be no
happens.
restriction,
They could put a gate up, though. Sullivan's good.
even though they've got access to all of that. Why would they want to come down a road, a lane that's really generated for us that don't have county road access? The property, we don't have any county road access, but all of those lots have county road access.
We'll see.
So why would they want to be coming down, dragging whatever, who knows, past our house to decide they want to make a junkyard in the back?
Problem is, y'all let them do it for so long, the judge
Yeah.
probably won't let them.
Yeah, we just have to.
All right,
Thank you.
who's a third person?
Our third person is Pat Lane.
My name is Patricia Lane. That's my husband, and we have been out there 40-something years. This road that attaches to Bear Creek Road is an easement road that's been there 40-something, if not 175 years. Period. And we only have this road to get to our property. And if these other people comes over here and takes it, they only get half of it. So how are we gonna get a whole car down that road? Split it down the middle? I don't believe a car works if you split it down the middle. So how are you gonna do that? That road don't belong, no.
Ma'am, we don't have
about to say,
jurisdiction, we don't have jurisdiction over that.
Yeah.
We get in trouble, we start giving you advice out here tonight.
That's something that the courts would have
Well,
to.
there is an easement out there. Okay. What?
We can't advise you on that, we cannot.
We can't
control
correct it.
that.
We can't
That's
correct
a
it,
legal
yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
That's not under our jurisdiction. If I could do something, I would, I promise you. We have, our hands are tied here.
Well, a surveyor made this all the way out there, so why, I don't understand your problem.
Let's wait. I tell you, I think let's let the petitioner come back up and maybe help us clarify what their intent is and what they might be willing to do. Is that a fair statement, Mr. Hinkle? Fair statement, Mag. We hear what y'all are saying completely. I think we're clear on that. Mr. Hinkle, is there anything that?
Yes, we're addressing it as a road because it is a road. It is a 25-foot right-of-way in nobody's name that has been there for a very, very long time. It shows up as right-of-way. Whether the county claims it, the city claims it, no deed claims it, there's a 25-foot right-of-way down that road. And being that we're going through a subdivision, we're giving up extra footage along that road in case it ever becomes.
Put a fence up there and you'll get to the bottom of it.
That's right. Fences show up a lot. Some of them have to be moved and adjusted from time to time.
Engineering, legal, what, I mean.
Kevin, is this a prescriptive right-of-way?
No, sir. It's unclaimed right-of-way.
So it's on somebody's land? I mean, if it's on somebody's land.
Everybody's deeded to this side of it and that side of it. And you look at it on the tax assessor's map, it shows up as the road, named that road, 25
But
feet in width.
no deed makes mention of an easement, correct?
Not for this property, no, sir. I mean, there's just a 25-foot strip, and we're giving up a portion of property to give up our half of a 25-foot right-of-way if it were to ever
Is your
expand.
intent, is your intent to create a public roadway?
I have zero intent to do that. And
So what's the
we're just
purpose?
following the regulations because it's a road to make sure we're 25 foot from center line of it. I mean, that's your subdivision regulations that we're following.
So when you record that plat, you're gonna dedicate a right-of-way by that plat.
Mr. Chairman, I don't see how we can vote if we can't even discern whose road, because this, one of the lots in our subdivision has got access to a road that we don't even know whether it exists or who owns land underneath it. I think we ought to postpone this for a month.
I think we need some legal advice as well as some
I
engineering
mean,
advice.
we could back off the 10 foot, not give up anything and just leave it as that is our boundary line
It can't be settled tonight.
and then whether we access it or they access it or never access it.
That's the simplest, that's the
Yeah.
simplest.
Have access to Bear
But
Creek
we,
Road.
we were only giving up the additional property because it was a road. If we don't give it up, we're just following the common boundary line that exists.
What are y'all showing us here?
Yeah.
I recommend he request a postponement for a month and straighten out the underlying issue of who owns that property.
Amen.
So you have to formally request a continuance to, we can get,
Is 30 days enough, Kevin? Because this, you know,
well, as for continuance,
mean-
you can make it 60 days.
Yeah, I'm not a,
I'm saying you may want 60 because this.
yeah, I'm not a contrary person at all. I mean, all I can do is relay the message to them, and I'm sure that if you say 30 days, I don't know how far back we'll have to go to figure out how the road got there, but it is an undeeded
It's all about that
25-foot
corner
strip.
lot, because the corner lot has access to Bear Creek. He sounds pretty adamant his cousin's got access on that road, and I don't see how we can approve it, so, I don't.
But if we're giving up that strip, then we're not really subdividing that road, right? We would not be, we're giving up 10 feet that could potentially be right-of-way that we could no longer give up and just say, that's the common boundary line and let that go. And then still divide the property into the lots instead of giving up any access to that road. We could say zero access to the road if that's the case.
Here's where we are, Kevin. You got
Yes,
two
sir.
options. You can ask for a vote, or you can ask for continuance. I think you're hearing that there's a lot of confusion here and
But
unclarity here.
I'm
that
also-
We want to be,
Also,
we're not comfortable right now where we are.
yeah, I'm listening to their concerns. So if we don't give up anything off the road, then the boundary line that the Sullivans own is the edge of that 25-foot right-of-way or property, whoever's it is. And we're not touching it, we're not going to use it, and we're not going to access it. So then, that should make everybody happy.
Who is?
Who can guarantee that you're not going to access it, you're not using it?
I mean, if you have,
I would say y'all could, because if it's going to be subdivided or developed, it would come back here.
but you got additional landowners that are currently using that road down below, correct?
Oh, yes, sir.
So,
Because it appears to be a county road by right-of-way that nobody claims.
Cut those roads off there.
Yeah,
Go 25 years.
yeah, I'm not claiming it to be a county road. I'm saying it's not deeded to anyone, and it shows up as right-of-way per the tax assessor's map.
Postponement on the road, because we're gonna have a fish fight.
Mr. Woodson, do you recommend that we,
You can vote, or
said-
Mr. Hinkle can ask for continuance.
that's what I said previously.
If it's voted
Then-
down,
Then
then
we'll ask for a continuance.
I think that's a wise choice. All right, commission before us, and for those, what he's asking for is to not vote tonight, and he'll get staff, hopefully work with you guys, work with the landowners, try to clarify and clear up what is going on here before there's ever a vote taken. So nothing's gonna happen tonight. We're not, no votes tonight, okay? You'll get further notification if there is gonna be a pending vote. So, Commissioner, we have a continuance request for S 2724. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Case continued.
Next up, S2824 West Wind, a resurvey of lots 29 and 30 Tiers Farm subdivision, a reconfiguration of two existing residential lots on approximately 2.21 acres located at 15228 and 15232 West Winds Road. And this is not in city limits. Here's the location of the property. On the lake, Lake Tuscaloosa. All right, and then, so essentially what they're doing here is it's two existing lots and they're shifting the lot line. So this is the old one, they're kind of shifting it around the two houses.
They don't want the property line through the house?
What'd you say?
They don't want the property line through the house?
Yeah, I guess not, I don't know. So, this is without contours and these are the variance requests. Any questions from staff?
No, sir.
Is that the whole
All right,
Satterfield house?
Petitioner.
You know David Satterfield?
Keep us moving.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Marty Montgomery, Montgomery Hinkle Land Surveying, representing Ron Smith in the redivision or re-subdivision of these two existing lots on Lake Tuscaloosa to go around the houses so it won't be cutting through or going behind. And he's wanting to sell off one of the houses.
Cleaning up a lot line. Fair enough. Thank you. Anyone have any questions for petitioner? Thank you, sir.
Well, you know, so is it meeting the setback there, right there?
Sir?
Is it meeting the setback that you've drawn? I mean, I'm just saying,
Doesn't look like it.
I mean, you've got a setback of what, 10 feet or minimum?
Oh, it's 30 feet on the front.
Okay.
If
I'm
something
just
happens to
looking-
the house on lot 30R, it would have to be built back behind the building line.
But you've got a 10-foot minimum building line once you get to that first point, right? So,
Right,
but you're meeting that?
yes.
I think it looks like a patio or a piece of side.
Yeah, on the side there, it's over too. It would be the same thing if the house was ever built back. It would have to meet compliance to that lot.
Any further questions for petitioner? Thank you, sir. Anyone care to speak for or against? Commission before us, we have S2824 West Wind resurvey. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
Next up, S2924, the resurvey of lots 1 through 3 Bay Point, consisting of 3 residential lots on approximately 5.14 acres located at and around 15095 Four Winds Road, and this is not in city limits. You can see this adjacent to Lake Tuscaloosa. 3 existing with contours and without. So you can see the lot line to be removed here. I believe that's it. So it's more of a reconfiguration of these 3 lots.
Thank you.
And the variance request is cap sewer.
Engineering, no issues?
No, sir.
Thank you. Petitioner?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Bobby Herndon, 2728 Lurleen Wallace Boulevard, Northport. Just going to be reconfiguring these lots along the acquisition line. Still have plenty of room along each lot, and we would request a favorable opinion.
Any questions for petitioner? Anyone care to speak for or against this petition request? Commissioner, before us, we have S2924 resurvey of lots 1 through 3 Bay Point. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
S3024, the resurvey of lots 16 through 19 Holt Realty Company's subdivision number 7, consisting of 1 residential lot on approximately 0.71 acres located directly east of 3712 20th Street Northeast. This is not in city limits. The location of the property over in the kind of Holt area, you can see here kind of on the corner of 38th Avenue Northeast and 20th Street Northeast. 4 existing lots that they are removing all of those lot lines. the variance request, half-street improvements, sidewalks, cap sewer.
Engineering.
We concur.
Petitioner.
Mr. Chairman, Bobby Herndon again, Herndon Hickson Associates. Ms. Rivera has 4 lots in the Holt area. She wants to consolidate them into one lot. By this plat, we're also dedicating a water line easement to the city, of course, along a water main that was non-existent. So we would once again request a favorable opinion on this.
What did you say about the water line, Bob?
We're granting a water line easement. There wasn't one there to start with. So by this plat, we're dedicating an easement across there.
Okay. Anyone sign up for?
Yes, sir. Miss Julia is signed up to speak for this case.
Okay. Ma'am? Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. A long day. My name is Julia Sanders, 3808 21st Street, Northeast Hope. My purpose is here wants to know, why are you all singling me out for this? I just bought this lot last year. What's the purpose of it?
What is the
See, all I got, this is what I got, so I wants to know what it's for. I mean,
This property owner has 4 lots
That's
currently.
me. That's
Because
me.
there's 4 lots currently, right? You
Right.
want to make it 1.
oh, y'all want to make it one?
Yeah.
Right.
You got it because you did it, because you're doing
Yeah.
it.
Every property owner within a certain radius gets contacted, gets that sheet like you got. Since you're the property owner, you get one too.
Well, I hadn't decided what I'm gonna do with it.
Well, we just know you're gonna make it to 1 lot, and that's what we're here to vote on.
So are you the one that requested all the lot lines to be removed to make it 1 lot?
No, I hadn't.
And you're the property owner?
She's
I'm
an
the property
adjoining
owner.
owner.
I hadn't done anything, that's the reason
Are
I'm
you
saying.
do you own this property?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Herndon,
Like I say, we got
could you come back up here? Okay.
The property is listed in Ms. Rivera's name.
What, this here?
Those 4 lots there, yes.
No,
ma'am.
it's not.
Well, she's building a house on it. Did you
Oh,
know
she
that?
building a house over across from this, not,
Okay.
not it.
That's her 4 lots there.
You'll see her ownership to the north.
Ma'am, I have my proof right here.
These are the lots directly south of
I own
hers.
Those, that's just in the front of my house. If you pull up that stream where
You
y'all
pull
have-
up.
Can you show us a picture?
Yeah.
She, now he talking about, it's over far from me. For where they built it, they had built a big old house there. Okay, right where this lot at, right across in the front of it, this way, that's my house.
Can you circle that for us? That's your house there?
That's my, no, okay. I'm on 21st Street.
Okay, you're up
Where's
above,
21st
you're,
Street?
21st Street.
It's up there.
show her, highlight, that's 20, is that your house?
That burgundy house with the red roof,
Right there below it?
that's my house.
Okay. We're talking about these lots in the red square.
Oh, they gave you, send the wrong paper to the wrong people. She's in, it's wrong, this is wrong.
So we're talking about this right
Yeah,
here.
This is wrong,
Okay.
this is wrong.
we
See,
understand.
my lot is in, across in the front.
That's your lot?
Oh, right, over there.
Okay.
Yeah, no, ma'am,
Now,
we,
they over there, but this,
well, if they made a mistake, we apologize, but you had some good entertainment.
right.
We're not gonna charge you for entertaining you, okay?
They made a mistake. See, what he's talking about, it's over there where this other red house is at.
This is the part we get to talk to them late tonight about the mistake they made.
Yeah.
I'll actually,
We're gonna have a conversation with them.
I'll
Because
take,
I didn't understand, because Alonzo owned the rest around me, because he sold me this and sold them that too, but.
I appreciate this, I've been mad
And
at
I've been
them
all
too.
day freezing.
I'll take a quick moment to defend ourselves because it is almost 8 o'clock. You received this, Miss
Yeah, she's
Julia,
been
because
here all
yours is the
night.
property directly north of this. You're an adjacent property owner.
That's why you got, yeah. Thank you, staff. All right, we got to vote on this thing. Yeah. All right, commission, before us, we have S 3024, the resurvey of lot 1619, Holt Realty Company. All those in favor, need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second. Ms. Hornsby?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Prince?
Yes.
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 Y'all stacked
Yes,
tonight.
motion approved.
All right.
Bobby's done that to me too.
S3124, Grammar Division 2, a resurvey of Lot 2, Grammar Division 1, consisting of 2 lots on approximately 15.8 acres located north of 12693 Lonnie Scott Road, and this is not in city limits. So you can see pretty far north, close to Samantha, but within our PJ. Existing property today. So I'm going to turn this around so it's easier, but this is the property as you're looking at it from north to south. But as you can see here, they are just turning it into 2 lots, adding this lot line right here. And this is without contours. And they are asking for drainage study, public street frontage, lot configuration, and cap sewer.
Engineering. So the one that I have concern about is the one for public street frontage. I know this is a long way from our city limits. What I would recommend this body do is put a stipulation on this final plat that no more lots can be created without public street frontage.
No more lots on this.
Yeah,
one.
allow this one division, but the next division has to have public street frontage.
All right. Petitioner.
Hey, good evening. Philip Grammer, Longleaf Engineering, 1927 7th Street, Tuscaloosa. I'm here representing the estate of Hazel Townsend Moore, which this property comes from. That's actually my late grandmother, the representative of the estate. My mom is actually here tonight as well. I wanted to come to talk a little bit about the unique circumstance that lead us to
I
asking.
can't understand the word you're saying.
Fully start over, or is that?
If it was important.
Better? Yeah, okay. Philip Grammer, 1927 7th Street, Tuscaloosa. I'm here representing the applicant, the petitioner, who is the estate of Hazel Townsend Moore, who's my late grandmother, a representative of her estate. My mom is actually here tonight, and I wanted to come just to talk to you guys about why I'm here asking to create a landlocked parcel.
You better do a good job if Mama's here.
No, initially, when she passed away, the piece that's missing there was her house was on that, and that piece was subdivided out to be sold. The remainder of the land, the people who bought the house, the Jarrett and Hope Goodman, they expressed interest in buying some of the property from the estate. So the Lot 2R that's been created would actually be sold to the owner of the lot there that's sort of missing. The remaining piece of the land, the actual landlocked parcel, when the estate is settled, be retained by my parents, who are the adjacent property owners to the north. So if this subdivision is allowed to go forward, then both pieces of property would be owned by adjacent owners to what they are now. We looked at a couple different ways to try to achieve this without asking for the variance to create a landlocked parcel. Unfortunately, there were some hurdles. It's a prescribed easement for Lonnie Scott Road, so the actual original piece of property had very, very little street frontage, which is why sort of the unusual flag lot was created initially. But this would comply with the county's regulation on size for landlocked parcels, and it does have a access easement on Lot 2R to give access to the landlocked parcel as it is. So I'm hoping, given the circumstances, it is unusual, and we've looked for other ways, but given the circumstances with the hardship, that you guys would be willing to grant it.
You do understand the requirement to be noted on the plat?
Yes, actually already noted. We had discussed that with staff, and we noted on the preliminary plat.
So you're in agreement with it?
Absolutely, yes. No, there'll be no more subdivisions after this one.
And you're not charging your mama?
No, absolutely not.
All right, thank you. Anyone care to speak for or against? I think we're pretty clear on this. And again, for the stipulation of that on the final plat, there will be noted that no more subdivision without street frontage being addressed. That being said, Commission reports have S3124, Grammar subdivision. We have a motion and a second.
Motion. Second.
Mr. Rumsey.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
All right, last one of the evening, S 3224, Corbin Estates, consisting of 4 lots on approximately 4.4 acres, located along Tiers Patton Road between Clear Lake Drive and Lake Hills Drive, and this is not in city limits. This is another one up Tiers Patton Road. Long strip here with contours, without, so you can see it's creating 4 different lots here. Pretty much it. Half-street improvements, sidewalks, and cap sewer variances. have been
Engineering.
requested.
Hello?
We're okay with those.
Thank you, Mike. Fisher?
Save the best to last, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You charge them by the hour?
Yes, I do. Ron Henderson, Tuscaloosa Engineering. You see the 4-lot subdivision that meets the 1 acre rule. And we've already done a soil evaluation on the sites. We know it's going to be fine. Pretty straightforward. Any questions?
Anybody sign up for?
You're in the water basin.
No, sir?
You're in
Okay.
the water basin.
Anyone care to speak for or against? All right, commission, final case. We have S 3224 Corbin Estates with 3 variance requests. Engineering has no issues with it. I have a motion and a second.
Motion?
That's Hornsby.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
All right, quick reminder, April 24th, Eastern Growth Area. We're going over that framework, so get excited about that. And then
Just Ron did his soil test.
for all the people still listening online, framework.tuscaloosa.com.
Good job. That was
We're all going to Taco Bell now.